Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Pradeep. Good morning.
Now I am at Calicut.
Yeah, I know.
Good morning, Udayan. Udayന്റെ മൈക്ക് മ്യൂട്ടാണ്.
മൈക്ക് മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്.
സാറേ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് സാറേ.
ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്. Good morning, Jayaraman sir.
Shall we start, sir?
So I think we can start.
We can start.
Evidence that we can ever gather that'll tell us that they exist, and that doesn't mean they're not there. It just says that science can't tell us whether they are there or not. So this is why I say it's ascientific. Why do
Very good morning and warm welcome on behalf of Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. Today we have the last program of the series, the one-year-long program as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav initiative of Government of India, the program conducted to commemorate the 75 years of progressive India. The Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and the state S&T councils have joined hands in organizing this one-month, one-theme initiative as Vigyan Utsav. Once again, a warm welcome to all the participants to this final program. The theme for this month is intellectual property rights. Let's see the short video about Vigyan Utsav first.
अगस्त 2021 को भारत ने अपना 75वां स्वतंत्रता दिवस बड़े धूमधाम से मनाया और साथ में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने लाखों करोड़ों लोगों में नई ऊर्जा और चेतना जगाई। उसी चेतना को बढ़ाने के लिए देश के सभी विभाग विशेष कार्यक्रम का आयोजन कर रहे हैं। समाज के लिए विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी विभाग द्वारा नावीन्य कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया गया है, जिसका नवंबर 2021 से अगस्त 2022 तक चलेगा, जिसे डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया तथा स्टेट साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोग्राम के तहत मनाया जाएगा। कार्यक्रम SI के लगते विषयों आधारित राज्य स्तर पर विभिन्न प्रकार की प्रवृत्तियां होंगी, जिस राज्य स्तर पर TI संस्थान, मानव क्षमता विकास और स्टार्टअप, विज्ञान संचार और लोकप्रियता, महिला वैज्ञानिक, विज्ञान और समाज, फ्यूचर टेक्नोलॉजी, आत्मनिर्भरता को शामिल। हमें आत्मनिर्भर की ओर तो में भारत अलग अलग राज्य भागीदार होंगे, जो अपने विज्ञान वृत्तियां और नवाचार के विभिन्न पहलू की कर विज्ञान उत्सव के साथ मनाएं। विज्ञान उत्सव हम सबका अपना उत्सव।
Welcome back. Let's move on to the program. May I invite Dr. S. Pradeep Kumar, the Member Secretary of Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, to welcome the distinguished guests and participants. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharika. Professor K.P. Sudhir, Professor K.C. Sunny, Praveen Raj, Dr. CRLC, Sri C. Balagopal, Dr. Anjanar Nair, Sri Vimal Govind, Sri P. Narayananuni, Dattan sir, A.P. Jayaraman sir, member secretaries and other officials of different state councils, directors, scientists and other officials of different R&D organizations, Dr. Ajit Prabhu, Dr. Binuja, Dr. Sarika, my dear colleagues, friends, and dear participants. A very good morning to one and all. Welcome back again to Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, celebration of the 75th anniversary of Indian independence. Today we are on the final lap of these celebrations. We started this during 2021 August, and this is the 12th and the last episode in the series. In fact, we had many doubts and confusions about the organization of this series, how effective it may be, how best it can be coordinated, but within no time we were able to make it to maximum effective possible with the excellent support of KSCSTE team. Our sincere thanks to the officials of the DST Government of India for their continued support and to the speakers of all the programs and those who have shared their experience with respect to each theme. It was indeed a learning experience for KCST, and we gained a lot of experience and information which are otherwise scattered. We were able to coordinate with many technocrats, educationalists, scientists, business personnel, academicians, and many more. Even young talented awardees were also joined with us for the successful conduct of this program. And finally, today, we will be discussing about intellectual property rights and the role and significance of IPR in different sectors. We have an array of eminence from different sectors who is handling or taking care of the IPR issues of respective organizations to discuss with us. As we are aware, the intellectual property rights refers to the legal rights given to the inventor or creator to protect his invention or creation for a certain period of time. These legal rights confer an exclusive right to the inventor or even his assignee to fully utilize his invention for a given period of time. In Kerala, Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment has formulated this policy for the effective management of intellectual property rights in the states, mainly to provide a conducive environment leading to development of intellectual property of the state of Kerala and to facilitate, encourage, promote and safeguard scientific research and innovations in the state. Intellectual Property Rights Information Center Kerala, IPRIT, is the nodal agency of the Kerala state for all the intellectual property rights related services and matters and is the advisory center for Government of Kerala on all IPR related matters. IPRIT caters to the various IP needs of scientists, researchers, academicians, professionals, industrialists, entrepreneurs, academic institutions, organizations, government and university departments, startups, policy makers, grassroots innovators, etc. in the states. IPRIC has been in the forefront in creating awareness about the IPR in the state also. Since there are many well-experienced technical persons to discuss these things, I am entering into my responsibility of welcoming the gathering. Professor K.P. Sudhir, Executive Vice President and Principal Secretary of Science and Technology Department, Government of Kerala, needs no introduction. He is leading the Kerala State Council at various levels. I cordially welcome you, sir, to this program. Professor K.C. Sunny, Vice Chancellor, National University of Advanced Legal Studies, Cochin, is the keynote speaker today. He has readily accepted our invitation and agreed to deliver the lecture. I sincerely welcome you, sir, to this occasion. Praveen Raj, Principal Scientist, Research, Planning and Business Development, CSIR NIST, is here to share his experience in institutional IP policy and technology. I welcome you to this function. Dr. CRLC, former professor and coordinator, IPR Cell, Kerala Agricultural University, will be discussing on importance of GI and its socio-economic impact in the society. I welcome you, madam, to this function. Sri C. Balagopal, founder and former managing director of Penpal, will be delivering a talk on role of IPs in industrial growth. I welcome you, sir, to this function. Dr. Anjan R. Nair, Assistant Professor and IPR Cell Coordinator, College of Engineering, are here to discuss a case study of CET on institutional IP ecosystem for scouting IPs. I sincerely welcome you to this function. Sri Vimal Govins, co-founder and Chief Executive Officer and Chief Product Architect of Gen Robotics Innovations Private Limited, is here today to talk on significance of IPR on innovation-based startups. I welcome you, sir, to this program. Sri P. Narayananuni, proprietor of Nyavara Rice Farmers Society, a person who spent his whole life for promotion of Nyavara, is here to share his experience in role of GI in Kerala's agriculture and its impact on farmers. I welcome you, sir, to this function. I sincerely welcome Dr. Datta, Dr. Reshmi Sharma, Dr. Ravikant Prajapati, the DST officials, Government of India, to this function. I welcome all the member secretaries and officials of different state council and directors and scientists of various R&D institutions to this function. I sincerely welcome all the participants who showed a real interest in this program. Dr. Ajit Prabhu, Chief Scientist of KSCSTE, coordinated this program. I congratulate him for the efforts and welcome to this function. I welcome and congratulate Dr. Binuja, Dr. Shairika, and Sri Sunil Kumar and Jay Krishnan for their efforts for the successful and smooth conduct of this program. I welcome all my friends, colleagues, and all those who have gathered here to witness this function. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Professor K.P. Suthir is the ex-officio Principal Secretary to Department of Science and Technology of Government of Kerala and Executive Vice President of Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. I now invite Professor Suthir for the presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharika. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Professor K.C. Sunny, Mr. Praveen Raj, Dr. L.C., Sri Balagopal, Dr. Anjan Nair, Sri Vimal Govind, Sri P. Narayan Nunni, other dignitaries who have joined online for this function, my colleagues, and dear friends. Well, it's indeed a pleasure to join you on this occasion of 12th edition of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, one theme in a month program organized by the DST. We have been a part of the organization for the last 11 months, and this is the last edition as mentioned by Dr. Pradeep Kumar. We have been able to successfully organize programs every month with the focal theme designed by the Department of Science and Technology, which was very useful and very effective in general. So this month's program, as mentioned by the host, is on IPR, intellectual property right. We have been doing a lot of activities at the Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment on the IPR facilitation. We are identified as a nodal agency in the state for facilitating IPR related activities for the researchers in the state. If you look at the history, intellectual property is more of recent origin in the time scale and human history. All the human innovations were available to the benefit of respective communities, and only the barrier was the communication between among them. However, many of the innovations in the past were placed in public domain for the common good. Some of them were retained as a private knowledge, probably for private good. Now, the statutory arrangements to create private ownership on innovations in the form of exclusive privilege to facilitate exclusive economic gains from the innovations were first introduced in Europe. The exclusive privilege eventually became patent and an important component of the intellectual property rights. The system of patent grant and working has undergone major changes during the Industrial Revolution. Subsequently, the scenario changed with the establishment of World Trade Organization with its agreement on trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights. As India is spearheading towards a knowledge-based economy, a broader understanding of IP and its value in improving competitiveness is very essential. Therefore, building IP awareness became the key priority of the nation. Hence, issues of generation, identification, valuation, protection, and exploitation of intellectual property rights assets are attracting attention increasingly all around the world. Subsequently, or consequently, intellectual property rights and their protection has become a vital part of the national economic agenda. They are fast becoming an integral part of the national economic policy, science and technology policy, and education policy. Strengthening of intellectual property system in the context of internationalization of trade, of internet economies, of the multimedia age, and of information technology in the current century is a constant necessity. The Government of India has given due importance to IPR and its dissemination during the past several years. India stands 7th in the top 10 patent filing countries globally. The government, through its national IP policy, envisages to propagate awareness on intellectual property rights among the public, as well as to improve the legal and technical capabilities of examiners and controllers. The extensive outreach programs for promoting intellectual property rights inevitably helped in enhancing the IP output of the country. It must be seen that IPR awareness mission in the country has improved the intellectual property literacy among the public over a period of last 10 years and yielded positive results in IP generation directed towards national strategic goals. However, there is still an immense need for creating awareness on IPR right from school students to generate IP perception to inculcate an IP hierarchy. The Kerala state needs to create a deep knowledge of innovation systems, the key role played by the IPR, and how the organizations can improve the speed and effectiveness of the innovation system in the larger perspective of innovation ecosystem. IPRIC, hosted in the Kerala State Council for Science and Technology and Environment, is organizing the activities and programs in this direction. However, more IP personnel need to be trained, and the trained IP personnel shall get retrained with best practices in such aspects followed by international organizations, and also understand how such good practices are happening in other countries and in global market. Valuation of IP is another major challenge in Indian context. Hence, there is a dire need for massive awareness creation of IPR and prerequisite to educate and create a deep knowledge of innovation system and for providing such inputs to the universities and academia. Capacity building is essential and also should develop knowledge on technology transfer and innovation management. I do hope the massive programs like this will augment the knowledge in this direction and is expected to create wide awareness among the researchers, students, and scientific fraternity and academia. I wish all success to this program of the IPR. And in this occasion, I would like to thank my counterparts from Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, for planning this program, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, 1 month, one initiative theme, and ending with IPR makes a difference to it, because intellectual property right awareness program is one of the most essential things in the knowledge economy, which is envisaged by the country and in particular by the state. So thank you very much, and I wish all the best for the program.
Thank you, sir. To detail the IPR ecosystem in Kerala State, may I now invite Dr. Ajit Prabhu, the Chief Scientist of Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. Sir, please.
Good morning. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Respected President of the function, Professor K.P. Sudhir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor K.C. Sunny, respected Member Secretary of KSCSTE Dr. S. Pradeep Kumar, respected Dattan Sir, other distinguished invitees in the panel, dear and respected scientists from and members from DST and TIFAC, my dear colleagues, beloved faculty and researchers, ladies and gentlemen. I am to narrate the IPR ecosystem in the Kerala state, in which I am trying to present the role of KSCSTE in promoting IPR and the proper linkages between academia, R&D centers and industries in generating IPs, protecting, maintaining and creating a deep knowledge of innovation system, supports extended for the commercialization and technology transfer and for the overall development of innovation management. One second. Yeah. So this shows the overall picture. I hope a slide is moving. I am in the number 3 slide.
Yes,
Right?
yes, correct.
So this shows the overall picture of intellectual resources and the IPR ecosystem factors in Kerala state. The resources or intellectual resources in Kerala are, of course, shown at the central part. There are 49 R&D institutions, both state as well as central, 150,000 MSMEs, 3,100 plus startups, 900 plus IT companies, 135 arts and science colleges, 60 polytechnic colleges, 172 engineering colleges, 20 plus universities, 1 National Institute of Technology, and 1 IIT. So this is actually working within the IPR ecosystem. Those are IP laws, IP facilitation schemes, IP offices, IP experts, IP attorneys and agents, IP awareness creation and education, and within the gamut of national, state, as well as institutional IP policies. Of course, in the 7 forms of intellectual property rights, we are giving thrust on patents, copyrights, trademarks, GIs, trade secrets, industrial designs, and layout designs of integrated circuits. Yeah, this shows, as Professor Sudhir has informed, Intellectual Property Rights Information Center Kerala, which is the nodal agency in the state, functioning under Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. Also, the Patent Information Center Kerala, supported by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India and TIFAC, which is coexisting with the IPRIC Kerala. It provides services on all forms of IPR, including patents, copyrights, etc., which I have narrated. It acts as an advisory center for Government of Kerala on IPR related matters, provides technical and legal assistance for filing IPs through PFC TIFAC and through KSCSTE's official attorney, provides technical and financial assistance to institutions for organizing IPR awareness programs, also provides technical, legal and financial support to financially backward grassroots innovators as per the IPR policy of KSCSTE. We have in-house prior art patent search and trademark search facility, which is given free of cost. support mechanism provided by KSCSTE through IPRIC for patent filing. Suppose there is a patent lead and an innovator approaches. This is the way in which we are handling or managing the IP filing. We look at the status of the inventor application. If it is an institution, we do patent search and issue search report, and sometimes again research has to be done. Accordingly, the decision of the inventor is sought for, whether he would like to file through TIFAC or through official patent attorney. Accordingly, it is facilitated and patent is filed. If it is an individual or startup or MSME, we look at whether he is a grassroots innovator or not. If he is grassroots innovator, patent search is carried out and his financial background is poor. Based on the recommendation of advisory committee, all the expenses are borne by KSCSTE and patent is filed. And if he is not coming under the economically backward criteria, then patent search is carried out and he is given the issuance of a search report and advised how to file the patent through the official attorney of KSCSTE, and the service is actually offered to him. We have got 27 IPR cells in 10 universities and 16 colleges, which includes all government engineering colleges and aided engineering colleges and some private colleges, as well as some science colleges, and also one in district industries center. This is an interesting slide, which in fact shows during the last 10 years how the awareness program is related with patent filing. During the last 10 years, IPRIC and PIC Kerala are carrying out massive awareness programs in the Kerala state, and then figure shows the positive correlation between awareness and patent filing. It shows that patent filing is proportionately related with awareness programs on IPR. So far, more than 500 awareness programs have been organized in the Kerala state, and you can see the number of patent applications which is increasing proportionately. Yeah, this shows the number of patents filed through Patent Information Center and IPRIC. Total 108 patents have been filed and 23 granted. And you can see the inventors include institutions, R&D centers, and also grassroots innovators. This is the IP statistics in Kerala during the last 10 years. Due to the massive awareness programs and a lot of IP education, you can see the filing of patents are gradually increasing right from 2010 and up to 2021-22, and it has been, there is a drastic increase right from 288 to 364, and every year gradual increase can be observed. Yeah, this slide shows a comparison between the patents filed by individuals and institutions. You can see in this pie chart, from the total number of patents filed, more number of patents are filed from individuals. That is 42% of patents are filed from individuals, 10% from universities, 16.5% from colleges, 14% from R&D institutions, and from companies again 14.3%, and NITs and IITs 2.7%. This is based on the current statistics taken from the IP office Chennai. Yeah, this gives an account of patents filed by various institutions and universities in Kerala. I'm not going to detail these things. These are statistics taken from respective websites. Amrita Vidyapeedam or Amrita University has filed maximum number of patents 200, followed by Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology 158, NIT Calicut 33, Mahatma Gandhi University 24, and so on. And this slide shows how the schemes and programs operated by KSCSTE is linked to IPRIC for leveraging IP output. Out of nearly 40 various schemes and programs of KSCSTE for the promotion and popularization of science and technology in the Kerala state, a dozen schemes are exclusively meant for research and innovation and also for technology development. IPRIC is scrutinizing these projects, and similarly the research outputs from universities also, and scouting for patent leads, then carries out patent search for checking the patentability, and if found patentable, it is channelized through TIFAC or patent attorney, and the patents are filed. These are the a dozen schemes which have been highlighted here. Ecology and environment, which is a research scheme in the environment scenario. Engineering and technology program, a research program exclusive for engineering and technology. Technology development and adaptation program, rural technology program, Sreshta centers of excellence, science research schemes, then partnering academia and industry in research, pair program, research fellowship program, Abdul Kalam Youth Challenge program, Rural Innovators Meet, and Tech Fest. And here you can see from universities, we have got IPR cells which functions as an arm of IPRIC, and through that we are getting the leads from universities and colleges, and IPRIC, which is coexisting with the PIC Kerala Department of Science and Technology, is channelizing the patent leads after patent search to TIFAC and patent attorney for patent filing. This just gives a certain idea about how patents are derived or scouted from the schemes and programs. This is actually a postdoctoral fellowship programs through which patents filed, 2 patents are filed, and through a scheme called SARD, Scheme for Augmentation of Research and Developments, 1 patent is granted. Through Science Research Scheme, which is a scheme for promoting research in science, 12 patents are filed, 1 granted, and 1 technology transfer has already happened. So this technology transfer happened. This is the innovation, a multi-wavelength integrating nephelometer for characterizing troposphere aerosols transferred to Messrs. Optint Solutions Private Limited. Another research fellowship program through which 4 patents are filed and 2 patents granted. Through engineering and technology program, 7 patents are filed. Through TDAP program, 4 patents are filed. Through a rural technology program, 6 patents are filed and 5 received. Similarly, IP output from external R&D institutions, it shows the past 10 years data collected. National Center for Earth Science Studies. I'm not elaborating because of the time constraints. You can see that from NSES, ICER, CPCRI, Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology, Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, Kerala Agricultural University, Kannur University, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala Veterinary and Animal Science University. These are the list of patents that is granted. 23 patents are granted through IPRIC and PIC Kerala, and out of which you can see 6 are exclusively from grassroots innovators, and that is the special support IPRIC is providing to grassroots innovators and rural innovators. This is the account of or details of the grassroots innovations that are taking place. We are organizing annually a program called Rural Innovators Meet, through which also we are actually the exhibition is organized in association with that, and through which also we are scouting innovative products and processes and take steps to file patents. This is another program through the scheme for promoting innovation from individuals, APJ Abdul Kalam Youth Challenge Program. A device for assisting visually challenged individual was developed, which was invented by one Mr. Akhilesh, and patent support was provided and patent filed. Similarly, another grassroots innovator, CK Manigandan, was provided technical and financial support for developing a household vertical soap molding comprising of detachable interlocking blocks, and patent filing was supported. Since he is economically backward, all the expenses are borne by KSCSTE. Similarly, an electronic smart cooking gas stove invented by Dr. Vinod and Muhammad Sahir was also filed from individual category. Yeah, this is major highlights of the IPs facilitated by IPRIC and PIC Kerala. You can see we have carried out 38 patent clinics, 17 IPR cells. Total 585 IPR awareness programs have been organized during the last 10 years, and 1,100 patent facilitation application has been received. And we have our own publications for popularizing and promoting IPR. And other IP filing record shows 7 geographical indications, which was facilitated and supported, 24 copyrights, 28 industrial designs, 108 patents, and 132 trademarks. These have been filed with the assistance and facilitation of IPRIC Kerala. These are the 34, there are 34 GIs registered from Kerala state. I'm not explaining that. Right from Aranmula Metal Mirror, Aranmula Kannadi, that is the first GI from Kerala, and Payyanur, Pavitra Ring, Nyavara Rice, Palakkad and Matta, and so on. And recently filed, so many recently GIs are also filed. This is the last slide. I would like to conclude with a success story. We have organized a patent camp at NIT Calicut in 2019 before the COVID pandemic, and visited the laboratories, discussed with professors, researchers, and scouted 24 potential inventions worth filing patent in 3 days of patent camp, and conducted on-the-spot prior art patent search and determined the patentability status of the inventions and provided necessary support to the inventors. And 5 patents were already filed, and patent filing procedures for the remaining inventions are in the pipeline. Similar exercise has been conducted and initiated in other institutions from College of Engineering, Trivandrum, which I am sure the coordinator will be explaining later. Recently, in the Digital University of Kerala, which is the nascent university established very recently, we have conducted a patent clinic at the Digital University on June 30, 2022, and scouted 20 potential inventions worth filing patent, conducted prior art patent search on 5 inventions and determined the patentability status of the invention. Patent search on the remaining invention is progressing. Similarly, filing procedures are also on. So this shows how effectively IPRIC is contributing to the IPR system, IPR ecosystem in the Kerala state. So with this, thank you for patient listening. Special thanks to my colleague, Mr. Safiq and Mr. Krishna Prasad for the data collection and support for designing the presentation slides. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us an overview of the IPR ecosystem in the state and about the efforts of IPRIC for IPR facilitation and awareness creation. Thank you so much. We have with us Professor K.C. Sunny, the Vice Chancellor of National University of Advanced Legal Studies, to deliver the keynote address. Dr. Sani has over 30 years of experience as a teacher of Kerala University and Central University of Kerala, out of which about 11 years as professor and 8 years as dean. After passing the LLM examination with first rank in 1986, he started his teaching career at Kerala Law Academy and Law College. Later, he joined for research with UGC Fellowship and secured PhD in Kerala University Department of Law, Karyavatam campus in 1990. He had published the book Corrupt Practices in Election Law and more than 45 research papers. 17 students, including 2 foreign students, successfully completed PhD under his supervision. He was the international observer to Nepal Constituent Assembly election 2006 and Bangladesh Parliament election in 2007. He had delivered lectures in 16 foreign universities and had interactive sessions in 6 foreign universities, including Harvard Law School. He served as the program chair of the International Conference on Law and Public Policy held at Singapore for 7 years. And it's indeed my pleasure to invite Professor K.C. Sani for the keynote address. Over to you, sir.
I think it is audible.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, sir.
Dr. K. Sudhir, Honorable Principal Secretary.
Your audio is breaking.
C. Balagopal, IAS. Sri Praveen Ajit, other distinguished guests, scientists, teachers, and other participants of this program. I am extremely happy to be the part of this program organized by Kerala State Council for Science, Technology, and any problem relating to audio?
Yes, sir. Voice is still breaking.
I may change the instrument. 1 minute. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sure.
Is it okay now?
Yes, now it is okay, sir.
ഇപ്പം കേൾക്കാമോ? എൻ്റെ
കേൾക്കാം.
അടുത്ത ഇൻസ്ട്രുമെന്റിൽ ഒന്ന് ഇത്
കേൾക്കാം.
സെറ്റായി വരാനുള്ള കേൾക്കാം. ഓക്കെ. At the outset, may I congratulate Kerala State Science and Technology, Kerala State Science, Technology and Environment for organizing this program in collaboration with Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Actually, Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment has a very good track record in promoting
Again, it is
Yes, approach.
breaking. Sir, what I suggest
Or
is you
two.
can switch off the video so that probably
Innovate,
that disturbance can be
yes.
overcome. Yeah, maybe that video can be stopped, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, now it is okay, sir.
Okay.
You can continue, sir.
Now we are discussing the intellectual property rights in higher education sector. When we are discussing this topic, we may remember one thing, that of beings is the history of inventions and innovations for two purposes. First, for the purpose identification of new resources and technology for effective utilization. Second one, for the health and safety. That is why I say that in the progressive society where and leaves of plants and trees constituted major resources, invention of sprout was an important invention. Then, in the latest stage, the technology for converting wild animals as domestic animals, that was a major invention. In the agriculture society, land was a major resource, and invention of technology for agriculture was very important. We may remember that the eminent historian Kosambi identified that in the reason for Aryan domination was their knowledge about two things. That's knowledge about seasons, that is calendar. Second one is the technology for developing land for the agriculture through soy and other things. In the industrial major resource, and for their effective utilization, there were so many inventions like machines, etc. Then steam engine. In this modern age of science and technology, knowledge is the most important resource, or knowledge may be treated as a major resource. So, as far as higher education sector is concerned, they are meant for generation of knowledge, organization of knowledge, and transmission of knowledge. So, since knowledge is an important resource in the modern age of science and technology, making the students, researchers, and teachers of the educational institutions about intellectual property rights is very, very important. Through this presentation, Dr. Ajit Prabhu, who is constantly working for the promotion of intellectual property rights for more than 2 decades, highlighted the Kerala scenario. From this presentation, it is clear that as far as
utilization of intellectual property rights is concerned, our educational institutions are not yet up to the mark. So, some constant effort shall be necessary of making all stakeholders of education aware of the importance of intellectual property rights and for the purpose of equipping the teachers, research, and even students its discipline. The most feature is that it is disciplinary. Somebody entertaining the idea that intellectual rights are something meant for scientists and those who are engaged in technology. No, because copyright is very important for all those who are engaged in arts and literature. Then, so many intellectual issues related to legal measure protection to traditional law. That is a very very important issue. Then intellectual property rights management, that is very important. The management aspects can contribute much. So basically, intellectual property rights is an interdisciplinary thing. It has a multidisciplinary character. So when we are making awareness about intellectual property rights, this aspect must also be in all purpose of development. Intellectual property rights have a great significance. Article Madhav will always says that for the purpose of sustainable development, of so that's the purpose. And
Excuse me, sir.
then protecting additional knowledge of research. Okay, any problem?
Yeah, it's breaking, sir. The voice is breaking.
So what is needed? Anyway, I am stopping. Yeah, in the image of intellectual property rights, some action is necessary. With these words, I am concluding. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It's quite unfortunate. Thank you so much for your address, giving an overview of IPR in the higher education sector. Now we have Sri Praveen Raj, who is presently working as Principal Scientist, Research Planning and Business Development, CSIR National Institute of Interdisciplinary Science and Technology. He joined NIIST in the year 2004 and is responsible for the intellectual property management, business development, technology transfer, and human resource management. He holds a postgraduate degree in power systems engineering from University of Kerala. His areas of specialization include intellectual property management, technology transfer, patent mapping, patent drafting, traditional knowledge documentation, technology forecasting, patent search, TK legislation, IP litigation, etc. He worked closely with Government of Kerala in devising IPR policy of Kerala of 2008, which addresses the concerns on traditional knowledge protection. He was a member of Advisory Committee on Intellectual Property Rights of KCST. He worked as examiner of patents and designs in Indian Patent Office Chennai branch for nearly 3 years prior to joining CSIR. He has delivered many invited lectures on IPR, Right to Information Act, human resource development, and technology transfer in many parts of the country, and is actively involved in the crusade against misuse of IPR legislations, commercialization of religious faith, monopolizing the common dishes, etc. It's my pleasure indeed to invite Sri Praveen Raj for the invited talk on institutional IP policy and technology transfer protocols. So please.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me take the slides now. Mute that one.
I think more than 2 systems are working in your room.
Yeah. That other one will reduce the sound. It's okay.
No, howling may be there, sir. If it is not there, no problem.
Okay. Just mute it. Is it okay if we mute it?
Yes, now it is okay, perfectly.
Fine. The slides are visible?
No,
Slides are not visible?
no, it is not. It has to come.
It is there?
No.
1 minute. Let me share the screen now.
Please. Now it is coming.
Okay. This desktop is coming, right?
Yes, now it is desktop.
Now the PPT is ready.
Yes, you can move to the view mode.
Yeah. Now it's visible, right?
Yes, it is visible. Absolutely.
Okay. And like the initial session was directly dealing with, say, called the relevance of IPR in higher education sector. So this is what I'm going to cover is a bit advanced topic. It's on institutional IP policy and technology transfer protocols. And moving further, I'll like to say which are the business development opportunities that are available to an R&D institute. First of all, it is selling the intellectual property right. What are the purposes for which an intellectual property rights can be solved? What is meant by selling the IP? That's the first important question we'll be asking. Selling the IP means you'll be selling the intellectual property rights as such, or intellectual property. If it is not protected, it's called intellectual property. If it is protected, it's called intellectual property rights or patents. We are selling that one as such for cash. That is called selling of the IP. The advantage is that you'll get some immediate money, and then there is no need of further investment in you need to make. What is your cons are you cannot make any upsides on that. You will be completely blocking your own future freedom to operate. So this can be done where in non-core areas. You should never do it in core areas. And coming to contract research, advantages are you have to learn about customers and markets. You have to completely learn about the customers and markets. In the case of a contract research, then you'll be getting some customers when you're doing contract research. That means you'll be undertaking a work for an organization, or another organization or industry. The risk is very less in that because you're using your expertise only. And customer takes the major value in the case of this one, in the contract research, entire thing, whatever you are developing, you will have to give to the customer. So that is your con. And then the IP scope is very limited in the contract research. And where do we do it? It is we are doing it the facility and core competence leveraging. We have to use it. Suppose in a particular area you don't have any expertise, you'll be doing something for the first time for others. You will build an expertise in that. And coming to another one is a joint development where we share the risk with another organization or maybe another R&D institute. And that is in the area of which are complementary, whether we have more resources, we have faster thing to market. These are all advantages of joint development. If you in a position where you are not in a position to do it alone, you will take the help of others. And that will become a joint development. And here, what are the cons in that? The reduced upsides, again, you will not have much of the upsides. You cannot move, you are tied up, both of the people are tied up. And then litigation risks are always there when we are moving together with another person. But where we should be doing it, when there is a strong market, when you are not alone, able to compete alone, you may have to do this. And another option available for a research institute is the licensing of technology. Once you license the technology, you will be in a better position to completely license to another person. You have to see the advantages are you can have multiple applications, and then the values are maximized by technology transfer. You may be able to transfer the technology to many people, and low asset risk is there, and you have improvement in value chain understanding. And there your difficulties are you have difficulty exclusives like geography, time, segment. Like if somebody asks for an exclusivity in a particular area, there you have to think twice whether to give it or not. And whether the question of whether you're undervaluing the technology or overvaluing the technology is a question when you're licensing a technology. Then typical cases are when partner has the capability across value chains, you may prefer to license technology to one person. Sometimes you may try to license technology to many people. That's like non-exclusive licensing technology. Another option available for you in your laboratory is when you have a technology being developed within the laboratory, you can start a company from there. So that is called spinning off from there. So such spin-offs are always available. The advantages are you're rewarding the inventor by that. And the cons are that need for non-technical, you should also have non-technical capability to build it further. You need to have high value niche area. Where should be you doing it? You should be putting it up in areas where you feel it's a highly niche area. In a highly niche area, you'll be doing this. And non-translation revenue. All these things I have mentioned here are called translation revenue. That means you're translating something to others and getting money. So that's something like you get recurring revenue. That is called consultancy projects. When you do undertake a consultancy for others, it's called consultancy project. And when you do technical services projects and then training, testing, etc. When you do training for outsiders, you'll get money for the organization. So these are the entire ways in which a research organization can make money, revenue. Now, in a well-organized setup and good organization, when you go about, you'll understand that R&D planning, stringent R&D planning is the most important thing. And the commercialization planning is another aspect of that. In R&D planning, you need to invent with a purpose. Don't just go for, I was mentioning about serendipity. Serendipity can always happen. So inventing with a purpose is different. You will be inventing with a particular purpose. And then you have to unlock the existing intellectual property. You have to acquire external know-how. You have to collaborate with outside partners. Okay. And in the commercialization side of the same thing, when IP is generated, you have to think of whether you can have technology transfer opportunities, IP transfer opportunities to self-autonomous units, or to R&Ds, whether you are creating revenue from there, whether you are, the licensing model is very important, whether you are taking a lump sum alone from a licensee, whether you are also asking for a royalty from the licensee, and whether you are leveraging your own IP, whether you are taking IP from outside also and then leveraging. Okay. And then contract research, whether it's included, entire thing is coming in the planning section, which we do. And where, again, you can see in the top side, upside, there's academia R&D, industrial R&D, and industries. The pure academic R&D, which is happening in universities, where it can go up to the stage of from fundamental science to basic research. Applied research is very less. And the institutions like CSIR, what we do is we start from basic research, we go to applied research, that's the maximum what we do, and when we go to product research. And then from the product development, at the same time, industries, what they do is that they don't have a core R&D division in the beginning. They start from applied research, then they go to product development, finally they do the production. So this is the usual. Then what's the need to do? There we can see that these things are mixing together. So academia, pure academia has to also link with the institutes like CSIR. CSIR has to link with industries, and again the industries also have to link with the academia, pure academia also. So that linkage is very important. Now this is the entire licensing strategy which we follow in CSIR. We have got an invention. we are patenting it, and when we are going for technology development, then we can go for a patent assignment if we need. And their patent will be assigned means we cannot do anything with the patent now. And the right is gone. Then we can go for an outright sale. Outright sale in the sense you'll be selling it, completely selling the technology itself, technology and patent together. Then we can have joint ventures, which I mentioned there. We can have licensing. This is sometimes cross licensing. Another person may have a similar patent licensing. Then we may have to do a cross licensing. And then licensing part, when it comes, we can license a technology, we can license an IP, we can license a technology alone, we can license an agreement, sorry, not an agreement, we can license a technology and patent together, technology alone. When it comes to technology, there will be non-exclusive global kind of licensing. It can be territory wise, you can give it one person in India, another person in US, likewise can be done. It is sole licensing. Sometimes, because license only one person is called sole licensing. It can be exclusive licensing, territory wise. What's the difference between sole and exclusive licensing? In exclusive licensing, licensee also loses right. The sole licensing, licensee can still use it. That's different. And then the non-territorial, non-exclusive licensing is also possible, territory wise. And then technology and patent together. Sometimes government may ask for rights for the patent. They may not get any money for that. And there are exclusive licensing provisions, even patent available, technology alone is available. There are license taken by government under certain provisions. And in all these things, we are having an agreement. The agreement is in writing. There is royalty, there is premium, there is technology transfer, training provisions. You have to technology documents, which are there. You have to say training. You have to say process demonstration, restrictive conditions, confidentiality, arbitration clauses, jurisdictions. Then what you have to do after doing this, you have to completely make a field watch. Okay, have notices, litigations against infringers and violators, periodic renewal of patents, etc. You have to. So when you should be, next slide. Okay, when you should be taking a patent is an important question. Practically in all companies will go for taking a patent when your risk start furthering and you're reaching a major point. Your risk will start coming down, the cost will start escalating. At that moment, you should definitely file a patent application because you're going to put a lot of money. Until then, you can wait. You can even start at the time the idea starts, it's the whole you can do. But when it really comes out, with this becomes practical. That means the idea stage, it goes to feasibility, goes to development stage, then to a pilot stage. Before pilot stage starts, you should have the patent filed or even granted. Then you should file much earlier. And this is a typical innovation cycle time for maturity of a particular technology. It goes like this: when opportunity sometime occurs, there is opportunity for technology. From there, you have to wait until an opportunity is perceived. And from there onwards, the real project activity begins. And then starts the product definition and plan phrasing. And then it is a negative cash flow because you have to continuously put money. It is true for even a small business you are starting. For first few years, you have to put money, continue to put money, and you don't get any return for that, no profit at all. And after some time, it will slowly rise. You will get a positive peak, but it will take some time to cover the negative investment. That is the meaning of this one. Only after the negative cash flow and positive cash flow meets, the profit start coming. Okay. So that is the problem. And immediately what will happen after some time, the technology will become obsolete. There will be many takers for the technology, or technology itself may become obsolete. So that also we have to understand. So there's always a technology cycle. So you have to act within the short time, you can make the profit. So what's the definition of technology transfer? Technology transfer is the application of technology for a new use or a new user. It is a process by which technology developed for one purpose is employed either in a different application or by a new user. The activity principally involves the increased utilization of the existing science or technology base in new areas of application as opposed to its expansion by means of further research and development. This is on famous definition of technology transfer. It's application of technology in a new area. Okay, transfer technology that will become applicable in an area. A technology transfer licensing, the receiver purchases the right to utilize the technology. That's the one thing. may entitle outright purchase. Sometimes it will be outright purchase. You will be purchasing technology, patents, everything together, or payment of an initial lump sum amount plus royalty on sales. Types of licenses: exclusive. There can only be one licensee. The licensor has no rights to exploit the technology or product. As I said, sole licensing, exclusive, but the licensor. That means licensor can use it. And the license has a right to explore the technology or product. Non-exclusive, there is no limit to the number of potential licenses. Irrevocable or revocable for a cause. Even after giving a technology license, it can be revoked or not revoked as a condition, because that condition will be set in the agreement itself. Territory, it's worldwide, it's limited to named geographical regions. Field of use, it's market specific. And then it is either royalty bearing or royalty free. Sometimes it's royalty bearing, sometimes it's royalty free. Sub-licensing is possible. Cross licensing also is possible. Sub-licensing means one person is given license, that person is licensed, another person is called sub-licensing. Cross-licensing, two people licensing their patents or technology each other. And another important aspect in IP and technology policy is the business incubation. So there are a lot of things happening. It was there in the first slide also. I didn't explain that one. It's a pre-incubation stage in which people come with an idea, and the research organization will have all the facilities and knowledge for developing them into a what we call as incubating. Finally, and that includes not only the technical capabilities, that also other legal capabilities. You should be helping them in taking a patent. You should be helping them in registering a company, etc. In our office, we don't have an incubator. We have a virtual incubator. In the sense, anybody coming with an idea in any of our areas, we'll give all the support. Then finally, we'll see that patent is registered. Okay. CSIR enabling startups and spin-off. CSIR laboratories should take equity in lieu of licensing assignment fee. This is CSIR policy I'm saying. CSIR laboratories are permitted nowadays, instead of taking money from people, instead of taking money from the licensee, we are nowadays allowed to take equity from the company. That means the share of the company will be given, equity will be given instead of the technology transfer fee. So in future, CSIR may be benefited. So that's a new concept which has come, and they have laid down this thing also. Startup or spin-off created by the individual, not from the CSR system with the knowledge base IP. Then, if it is non-exclusive, the minimum of 2.5% is there, and if it is exclusive, we have said more 5% minimum. Okay, more it's negotiable. It's a minimum we have said. If the company is ready to give more, it's good for us. So we also have come up with so when we are setting up an incubator, we should also charge for the incubator space. When they occupy a space in the incubator, we'll charge for that. So that charging percentage is also given here, and also we are giving some kind of reduction. So CSR fellows, some reduction. Outsiders also we are giving some reduction. And CSR also started setting up technology parks now, in especially in one of the CSR laboratories, CCMB, we have some technology parks set up. So that is like for evolving more and more technologies or incubating more and more technologies. And now we are going to the other side of this one. There is something called IP valuation. There is something called IP evaluation. What is the difference? IP evaluation, IP evaluation? IP evaluation is checking whether it has a value. That's called evaluation. Valuation means quantifying what is the value. That is called IP valuation. So what is IP evaluation? IP evaluation, as I said, it is qualitative. IP evaluation is quantitative. So these are the factors used in IP evaluation. Patent has been granted or not, granted patent is still in force or not, patent has been granted, patent term extension, there are any amendments to the claims, license, assigned, etc. Again, IP evaluation, freedom to operate search, all these things will be checked. Then landscape analysis of state-of-the-art search. Through the analysis of patents, we check whether we are having a white space. White space means the place where you can act. Nobody has taken a patent in a particular area, the white space is there. Then you can work in that area. So white space analysis is also very important. In technology evaluation, similarly, you have to qualitatively evaluate whether technology is worth, for which you have to check whether the novelty of invention is there, technical feasibility, is there any complexity, is there any process advantage, efficacy of the product, and then development maturity, technological benefits, future scope of improvement is there, any technology expert availability is there, technology readiness level is there. Then business attributes you have to, whether it's market demand, business opportunity, is the revenue potential, is there a time needed for commercialization, market entry barriers are there, cost advantages are there, geographical market reach is there, public perception. When some people sometimes think that it's dangerous to take a technology like that. Some technology may come in the market and it's dangerous. Then the public perception matters a lot. Maybe it's not dangerous, but if public perceive like that, that will become applicable. And benefit to end user, creating job opportunities, societal impact, health benefits, if any, and social recognition. And valuation of IP, again, as it's quantitative, then you have to consider all these things for valuing. You have to take the cost of development, cost of securing the IP, that means cost of taking the patent, and cost of maintaining the IP, renewal fee, etc. And laboratory overhead, you have to spend many amount of money from the laboratory for various purposes, and also notional amortization of staff, equipment, and facilities. An opportunity cost based on patent mapping and evaluation, and technology pricing. Technology pricing is generally different from IPR valuation. Why? Because patent costing has to be done only once, because that value is fixed. Then only the seasonal variation will apply. But coming to technology, we have to price it according to the client. The client may be a small scale industry, then you don't charge much. If it's a corporate, you have to charge much. And then these are the conditions in the this license is specific, and we have to consider whether it's exclusive or non-exclusive. If it's exclusive, we have to charge huge amount. If it's non-exclusive, the amount will be less. And then territory-wise, period of exclusivity, application exclusivity, minimum royalty clause, and the status of licensee, whether it's a small-scale industry, medium-scale, large-scale, is a multinational, reputation and past performance of IPR developer, etc., etc. And commercial strategy for technology, when you're taking a commercialization strategy for technology, you have to consider technology factors, intellectual property factors, market factors, availability of funds, finance, etc. So, for example, you have to do a docketing of your technology, which includes technology name. Docketing, what's the difference between documenting and docketing? Documenting is entire documentation of the particular thing. Docketing means you're making a bibliography in the first page. So it has to do a technology name, technology of briefing, technology transfer readiness level, which is the level is TR 1, 2, 3 or up to 9. And then unique selling proposition of the technology, innovator, who is the innovator, developer, which is the contract details, industry applicable and subsegment, major market players, IP status, licensing status, details of technology, basic technology principle, application of technology, technology merits, prototype status, testing and trial results, publications and patents, licensing opportunity, whether it's exclusive or non-exclusive, expertise profile, technology issues and concerns. Then analysis of market potential comes as feasibility market study, demand or market size, market demographics, pricing, comparison with the existing products and technology, market players. Then entry barriers. Entry barriers are very important. Regulatory frameworks, any other licenses, technology competency assessment you have to do. That is your whether you are having a know-how, manual completeness, process optimization is done or not. Technical dangers or risk factors are analyzed. Risk assessment for shutdown. Whether for introduce the new technology, you may have to shut down the plant for some time. So it's a huge amount is involved. Sometimes a plant needs to be shut down. And then whether you have a project report available, basic engineering design packages available, whether you have a SWOT analysis, whether you have payback period analysis done, all these things you have to have in your ready with you before transfer technology. And intellectual property factors are whether what's the type of protection you have taken, whether patents are granted in India and other countries, whether there's a design registration also, copyrights are taken, support to prosecute infringers are available or not, whether you are ready to give any support to prosecute infringers, whether confidential information are there, etc. And then market related factors, market and business potential factors, status of competing technologies based on patent searches, patent mapping, market surveys, business intelligence, techno-economic evaluations, etc. Type of application, whether it's single, multiple industry users, size and value of market, market entry barriers, socio-economic impact. Finance related factors, project development cost is a fixed and operational cost, expected returns, break even. And then availability of technology funds from the market, from banks, any other technology development agencies, government promote schemes, venture capital, service and facilities innovation, etc. And coming to assessing of the license is the most important part. You should assess the licensing before transferring a technology. If the person doesn't have any credibility in business, never ever license the technologies to him, because you will be in trouble. Because if the first license fails, nobody will come for your second license. especially in the non-exclusive licensing. So then you have to check whether the person is sincere, reliable, rational, and cooperative company, sound financial status of the company. You have to check. If they are not financially sound, many cases we have failed. We know. And then high-level managerial and technical capability, adequate facilities, equipment, and machinery, capability to understand, absorb, and promote the technology, strong and active marketing department, competent finance and business development team. All these things are important. Finally, in spite of all this, your technology may fail because of low technology transfer readiness level, lack of funding of scale-up and pilot studies, limited commercial prototypes of market, validation field testing, lack of market research studies, lack of economic feasibility reports, limited access to risk capital, inadequate lack of IPR protection, higher technology transfer costs, etc., etc. And that's all. I finished in 20 minutes. Thank you. For any questions, please shoot.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing us with a detailed overview of the institutional IP policy and the process of technology transfer, licensing, patenting, etc. And we have time for 1 or 2 questions. You may please unmute and ask if you have any questions. There are no questions means we'll move to the next.
We move
Okay.
to the next.
Okay, sir. Next we have Dr. C.R. L.C., who is the retired professor in plant breeding and genetics of Kerala Agriculture University, who was the coordinator of the IPR cell of Kerala Agriculture University for 17 years. Currently, she is serving as the nodal officer for authorized user registration of geographical indications under Government of Kerala. She is also the national subject expert in consultative group meetings conducted by GI Registry, Government of India, Chennai. Dr. L.C. completed her UG and PG programs from Kerala Agriculture University and PhD from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore. As the coordinator of IPR cell of Kerala Agriculture University, she played a lead role in the registration of geographical indications of 12 unique agricultural products of Kerala, including the Pokali rice, Kaipad rice, Central Travancore jaggery, Marayur jaggery, Tirur betel leaf, etc. Presently, she is also working as the consultant for GI registration of unique handicraft items of Kerala in association with Kerala Forest Research Institute, Pechi, Thrissur, and also as a GI expert for Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. Dr. L.C. is actively involved in the authorized user registration of GI products from Kerala, and under her leadership, IPR cell of KAU received National IP Award from Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, as top organization for best facilitation of registration of GI and promotion of registered GIs during 2018 and 2019. It's indeed my pleasure to invite Dr. C.R. L.C. for the invited talk on importance of GI and its socio-economic impact in the society. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. So good morning all. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Respected Dr. Pradeep Kumar, Member Secretary KSCSTE, Dr. KP Sudhir, Executive Vice President KSCSTE, Dr. Ajit Prabhu, other invited speakers and all participants. A very welcome to my session and also the program organized by KSCSTE. So first, I am happy to see that I am invited for this program, and in a very nice way for the last 1 year, such awareness programs, online programs maybe, are organized by KSCSTE. I welcome or I appreciate the efforts taken by KSCSTE. And the topic that is given for my presentation is geographical indication, which when we say about IP, mostly the most powerful one that is coming as the IP component is patent. And when Dr. Ajit Prabhu was mentioning about the IP ecosystem or the IP components in different institutions, normally everywhere the patents will come to the top level. But when I was teaching IP in Kerala Agriculture University, or when I worked with the farmers and when I motivated the farmers for IP protection, I used to see the geographical indications comes to the heart or it is near to the heart of the local people or the grassroots level people. When we say about a particular product, if it is near to their place, they can understand it well and they will be very happy to associate with institutions for the protection of intellectual property on traditional goods related to traditional knowledge, their culture, their geographical area, the traditional methods of production, the varieties, etc. So I'm so happy to be a ambassador of geographical indications, and it is my most favorite area related to IP protection and IPR spread of the message of IP. So with these few words, I am coming to my topic. I will share my presentation. So please 1 minute. Is it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Madam, please move to the view mode.
1 minute. Is it okay now?
No, not.
Yes.
Yes, now it is okay.
Okay. So I was working in Kerala Agriculture University as the coordinator of IPR cell for 13 years. And during my assignment or my work as the coordinator of IPR cell, I worked for the patent protection and also the protection of geographical indications, especially for the unique goods that are coming from the farmer's side or from the farming sector. And as told in the introductory remarks, now I am working with Kerala Forest Research Institute as a consultant for the GI protection of some unique products of Kerala, maybe some handcraft items. So I am so happy that I am able to continue my activities as geographical indications. So in this current speech, I'll be giving a brief outline about the geographical indication, what is its importance, and with a case study, how the geographical indications has impact on the socio-economic aspects of a community or a region. So I am sure that the participants will be knowing about geographical indications. They are just indicating. So in Malayalam, I used to tell as Desha Sujagangal or Bhauma Sujagangal. Bhauma Sujagangal is the common term used for geographical indications, but I prefer to tell as Desha Sujagam or Sthala Sujagam. The word itself tells it is indicating a desham, it is indicating a geographical area. So from the definition, it is clear that it is an indication. When we travel in some areas, we can see the indications in which direction you have to move or which is an institute, like that indications are there. And this is an indication about the goods, about the products only, not anything else, no variety or nothing else, but the product that is coming from a particular area is indicated here. And this indication, when the government approves a product as a geographical indication, it gives some idea about the origin of the product. As we know, when we say the Aramula metal mirror, it gives the origin of that particular product, Aramula. And also the quality is related to that region, maybe the soil, maybe the water used in the production, or the skill of the artisans and the method of production, and maybe the quality of the soil, environment. Everything together gives the quality of that product. So this is an indication of goods about their geographical origin and the quality. So this is the definition of a geographical indication, an indication which identifies goods. The goods may be agricultural goods or natural goods or even manufactured goods like Aramula metal mirror. And the goods are originating or manufactured in the territory of a country. It should be confined to a particular territory of a country, or even within the country, it can be a region or it can be a locality, that is territory. where a given quality, reputation, and other characteristics of such goods is essentially attributable to its geographical origin. So the origin of the product is very important, and the quality and the fame of that product is related to its geographical origin. So that is the definition for GI. And for many of us, GI is a new word. Geographical indication is a new word. ഭൗമസൂചകങ്ങൾ എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയുമ്പോൾ it's a new word. Or ദേശസൂചകം, we can assume what is the meaning of that word. But it is not a new concept. When we think globally, it is not a new concept. Actually, Europe is the leading country, or Europeans are the people who identified the commercial potential of geographical indications, and they try to use this brand name, geographical indications, for marketing their unique products. Actually, when we take the history, even in 1951, the Stresa Convention was aiming for market potential or market protection of cheese coming from different areas. In Europe, when we travel in European countries, we can see each region has their own cheese, and they are proud of using that cheese and marketing that cheese. So the people of each region want to have an exclusive right over the cheese they are producing, and they won't allow the people from other region to use the name or brand of the cheese of any particular region. So they try to protect the name of the cheese of each locality through some laws or rules. And in 1951, the Stresa Convention was organized for that. And here you can see in 1958, it was a landmark in the history of geographical indications. Actually, WIPO organized the Lisbon Agreement for the protection of appellation of origin under WIPO. And 1995, the TRIPS agreement comes. TRIPS means trade-related intellectual property rights. Under TRIPS, geographical indications is a component for multilateral treaty dealing in trade between the countries. So champagne, like cheese, champagne is another classical example for a geographical indication. Actually, it is coming from an area near to Paris. And when I say to the students of agriculture, I used to tell them in Champagne region, it is a region near to Paris. The World War I scattered the area. They lost all their farming fields, and all their houses were shattered, and they thought of how to survive after World War I. And then they thought their traditional method of farming and their traditional method of making wine. And they thought of protecting the name Champagne because it is coming from a region called Champagne, and that inhabitants of that area they are called as Champenois. So the Champenois thought of protecting the name Champagne for their own exclusive use, and they thought of not allowing others from the nearby, the farmers or the people from the nearby region, they won't allow to use the term Champagne for marketing the sparkling wine produced from the grapes coming from the Champagne region. So it's a very classical example. And throughout the world, only the champagne produced from a particular region alone will be allowed to be sold as champagne. So here there is a beautiful picture of a vineyard in the Champagne region. Actually, the total region of champagne production, 34,000 hectares, and there are 15,000 growers, and there are many cooperative societies engaged in this production. And when we come to India, so the Europeans are the first people who thought of using the traditional brand names for the promotion of protected or for of the World Trade Organization approved it, enacted the law in 1999. good registration and protection of a particular product. And it also is linked to cultural heritage of the people who are producing it. And always there is a history related to that product. I used to mine the historical documents to see up to what extent this product is related to the culture and also the heritage of that region. And definitely the artisans and the farmers who are producing the product, their personal skills are highly related to the quality of that product. And when the GI is protected, the traditional method of production and also the traditional varieties are conserved. And when we think about all the IP components, they may be related to maybe one firm or one company or one institution, one college, something like that. But geographical indications has a wide right. It is a community right. All the people coming from that particular geographical area has equal rights, and they can use that brand for better marketing. That is the most beautiful part of geographical indication. It gives right to a large number of people, and at the same time it protects the consumer's interest also. And what are the things that can be protected as geographical indication? The Act says the agricultural products, the natural products, the manufactured products, like foodstuffs, our biryanis or the peda can be, or the halwa, the Calcutta halwa can be registered as a geographical indication. And also the handicraft item that Kannadipaya recently, Kerala Forest Research Institute had submitted an application for the protection of geographical indication on Kannadipaya, a tribal product coming from some particular districts. And now we are also thinking of protecting some more handicraft items under geographical indications. So I used to ask my students, which is the first GI product of India, and most of the people will be knowing the first GI product of India is Darjeeling tea. And the total number of GI products from India comes to nearly 4,011 numbers, including some foreign goods registered as GI. And the first GI product from Kerala, definitely it is Aramula metal mirror. And the total number of GI products from Kerala comes to 31 in numbers. And here I have given the beautiful pictures of some registered GI products of India. The Nashik grapes, the miso bird's eye chili. Miso bird's eye chili, we will think it's some very peculiar item, but simply we can see namada kandari another kandari chili other. Then the Cune pineapple from Tripura, the lychee from Tezpur, the mandarin from Khasi, the Sikkim large cardamom. We have the cardamom, small cardamom, but Sikkim has registered large cardamom as a GI, and even the animal products can also be registered as a GI. Here you can see the Kadagnath black chicken meat from MP is registered as a GI. And some handicraft items. The first one, our mirror, Aramula metal mirror. Then some saris, the Bidri handicraft. The Channapatana toys, very famous toys in all the exhibitions of GI you can see. And some brass items. And here comes the agriculture products of Kerala registered as a GI, like Navara rice, Palakkad Matta rice, Wayanad Jeerasala, Wayanad Gandhasala, and the most famous Malabar Kurumulaga, Alapi Elam, the Pokali rice, Vazhakulam pineapple, Malabar Arabica coffee, Mansund Malabar Robusta coffee, and some more are there, the Central Travancore Jaggery, Kaipat rice, the Changalikod and Nendram banana, Nilambur teak, Wayanad Robusta coffee, Marayur Jaggery, Tirur Betla, and last to the series, the Edayur chili and Kuttiyatur mango. And these are the geographical indications registered by Kerala Agriculture University. The university IPR cell has completed the 12 products as GI, and 5 are in the last stage. They are already notified in the journal, and 3 are progressing. Along with this, to my activity, I wish to see the Kannadipaya, which is submitted from Kerala Forest Research Institute. And when we applied for that IP award in 2018, Kerala Agriculture University received a special citation. And in 2019, the award was received for IPSL of Kerala Agriculture University for top organization in GI registration and facilitation. And the other products registered as GI from Kerala, the earlier one I was telling about the agri products. Here is the list of non-agri products which are registered as geographical indication. And I will say Kerala is a treasure trove of geographical indication or unique products. And the government and also other institutions should take a responsible role for promoting the geographical indication registration, authorized user registration, and also the marketing of such unique products. And these are the rices of Kerala registered. There are 6 rices registered as GI, the famous Navara medicinal rice of Kerala, Palakkad Matta rice, the Pokali rice, Kaipad rice, and 2 aromatic rices from Wayanad, the Jeeragashala and Gandhagashala. Here are some beautiful pictures of these rices. And the Pokali rice, I don't know why the Malayali people or even the Indian people are not aware of the importance of Pokali, the system of natural cultivation of rice. And the Pokali cultivars, internationally, they are the gene donors for salinity tolerance in rice. And IRI, International Rice Research Institute, has identified Saltol QTL, which is identified in chromosome number 1, and it is the QTL used for developing the saline resistant rice varieties throughout the world. And the beautiful pictures of our Vazhakulam pineapple and the famous banana from Trichur. And this shows the impact of GI registration. Actually, initially when we started our work about the GI of Changalikodan, the price was nearly 43 to 45 rupees per kg. And other Nandran, the price difference was only 3 to 5 rupees. It was less, 2, 3 to 5 rupees. It was 40 rupees. And after GI, the demand increased. And you can see in 2019, during the Onam season, the price was 130 rupees per kg for Changalikodan, whereas for ordinary Nandran, it was 100 rupees. So for 1 kg, the difference was 30 rupees. And even in 2020, the price difference was 20 rupees per kg. So per kg 20 rupees or per kg 30 rupees, then we have to multiply with the total quantity of production. Then it comes to crores of rupees. And another classical example is Marayur jaggery. Here you can see the picture of Marayur jaggery, the black one. The black one is Marayur jaggery. The yellow one is jaggery produced by adding chemicals for bleaching the color and also getting some other color. And it is not good for our health. Whereas Marayur jaggery, even though color is not that appealing, it do not have the chemicals for bleaching. And the lower part you can see the Padiyan Sharkara or Central Travancore jaggery. These are the 2 jaggery products registered as a GI from Kerala. And some handloom items like Kasargod sarees, Kananur home furnishing, Balramupuram saree, Puttambulli sarees and fine cotton fabric, and Chinamangalam sarees are registered as GI. And lot of work is to be done for the promotion of these products after GI. And also the authorized user registration. When I entered into the field of these handlooms and handicraft, I found there are some lacunas and we have to work for the promotion even in the post-GI phase. And what are the advantages of GI registration? After GI registration, the product is getting special attention and a recognition is obtained for the geographical area. Gradually, the price increases, the demand increases, and the popularity comes. It gives a better marketing option for that unique product, and even some Apida has started exporting the GI products to other countries. And finally, it gives a security for the artisans or the farmers who are producing, and it is legally protected. The product or the brand name is legally protected, and we can, using these legal tools, we can prevent the fake products coming to the market. And as I told earlier, it protects the culture, the traditional methods, and the traditional varieties. And finally, the consumer's interest is also protected. And our Prime Minister is always telling in his meetings, we have to give a voice for the local products. That is vocal for local. And it coincides, that is on 26th August, a India GI fair is organized at Greater Noida, Delhi, exclusively for exhibiting the geographical indications of India. And 12 or 14 people from Kerala are participating in this GI fair, and all the travel expenses, accommodation, the stall, everything is provided by Government of India. So it's a good initiative so that all the GI products will get a better attention in the international market, in the local market, and also in different areas. And even in the tourism, it has a say. Maybe in foreign countries, you can see the coffee tourism is there. Similarly, I used to tell we can organize rice tourism. There are 6 varieties registered as GI. Why can't we organize a tourism program to go to all these areas and see how the method of cultivation is different, how the taste is different? And Kerala famous for spice, we can organize spice tourism, and even to jaggery are there, jaggery tourism can be there, and farm tourism can be a part of this GI tourism, and GI circuits and specialty markets can also be established. And even in the supermarkets, if GI corners are there, it will promote the GI products. And this story of Marayur Jaggery, I think I had to finish soon. Marayur Jaggery, I will say it is has a very successful story after registering as a GI. And we know the Marayur Jaggery comes from Marayur and Kandalur Panchayats of Idukki district. And this traditional method of production in a very traditional way. Inside the sugarcane fields, they are producing this jaggery. In the big pans, the juice will be boiled, and at a particular stage, it will be transferred to a wooden tray. And with hand, the jaggery balls are produced. No chemicals are added. And the shape will be ball or unda sarkara. And nowadays, they are producing the powder form and also the liquid form. And the color is dark brown. That shows no chemicals are added to give the artificial color. It is sweet, and the salty taste is not there. If you taste the jaggery coming from other states, it will have a salty taste. But Marayur jaggery don't have a salty taste. Less sodium, more iron, and less impurities are the characters. Here the color difference you can see. And this is the transferring of the certificate to the sugarcane farmers of that area after GI. And marketing, it is organized by 3 groups: the Anjanadu Karimbulpadana Vibadana Sangam Marayur, Mahads, Marco, and the local producers sell their product to these 3 cooperative societies. And very recently, 2 years before, the Kannandevan company, they started procuring the jaggery from this region. And in their outlets in Munnar, there are 5 outlets, and in these outlets, also the Kannandevan company is selling this Marayur jaggery. And the price difference you can see, and recently 2020, 21 and 22, the price comes to 150 or 160 rupees, and the farmers are getting 110 rupees in their production area. So when we started our work, it was 40 rupees or 50 rupees. Now it has almost doubled. And on the right side is the Angadi Nilavaram given in Malayalam Manorama Kottayam edition. Regularly they are giving the price of Marayur jaggery and also the price of Pandi Sharkara. Both you can see, and you can see the price difference between these two. So that is the impact of a GI. And once you start working on the GI, the people are more enthusiastic. They will associate with the institution who is taking the leadership for protecting their rights. And once the protection or the GI certificate is granted, then gradually the popularity increases, the media attention comes, more and more people comes for getting that particular product, and the livelihood security of the artisans or the farmers increases. So this is in nutshell about the GI registration and its impact and importance. And once again, I am thanking the organizers for giving me a chance to spread the concept of geographical indications. And I will be happy, still happy, even after my retirement, to work for the promotion of geographical indications and its marketing in the state. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with the importance of geographical indicators and their societal impact. And great to see your contributions in GI registration and facilitation. Thank you so much. I think any questions? We can take one.
Yes, madam. Can I ask a question, madam?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is Dr.
definitely.
K.R. Rao from KL University. It's very nice knowledge and good presentation. Madam is doing really wonderful work after retirement. Really great. Madam, only thing is, filing the GIs in Andhra Pradesh, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, we identified some areas, like some of the places where saris, making saris, waving saris, and we identified some of the products for every one district for one product, GA product. Like we have prepared a big report, because I'm running the I'm head of the IP cell here. But only thing is, can you brief me about once we identified a product, a specific GI product, what is the process of making GI tag, applying it for GI tag for that particular product?
Okay, sir. Thank you. Actually, it is a long process. Many people will think within a short time we can submit the application or we can get the GI tag. No, sir, it's not like that. Once you identify a potential candidate for GI registration, first think of its history. Definitely, historical documents are to be submitted for GI registry for registration. Then you have to prove what are the specialities or uniqueness of the product that you are going to present. Definitely what are the uniqueness, and you have to compare your product with the similar products from maybe from other areas in the same state, or from other sarees or other the clothes coming from other states also. You have to compare, and finally you yourself get convinced that your product is a very unique one and it has a history. Then you approach the artisans or the weavers who are producing it, and then form a society of those weavers, and then you work in a R&D mode, the research, and finally you draft the application. The GI application form is available in the GI site, in the GI registry site. You file the application. The 5,000 rupees is the fee for filing the application, and there will be some queries coming from the GI registry. You have to comply with it.
Yeah,
And
sorry to interrupt, madam, because we identified there are some products like even Jaggery also. There is a product. There are many people are selling and on roadside, because they are all manufacturing the same one. They are also located in a specific geographical location area, but they are all individually doing that specific product. But is it necessary all of them have the some, because we cannot file them on a single person or a group of people or some.
no, sir, actually you can organize.
There's no society, because we need to, because we have to take up the all of them, making them in a group and make a society, one society, like forming them as a society.
Excuse me for the interference. That is, sir, please note the number of Dr. CR LC and contact her directly for more information. Because since it is a time-bound process, we have to move the next one, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
So please note
Okay,
the
I'll
number.
I'll be happy to give information directly to the person who asked the question. Okay, sir.
Please. So did you noted the number, sir?
Yeah, sir, please
Her
tell me,
slide
sir.
is still in the.
Yeah, please, madam, number or emails, madam. I just send a message chat also in chat box.
No, her number is in the slide.
Number is 944-7878-968.
Okay, madam. One second. I will note down.
Madam, one more clarification is also needed. That is Ramasheri Idli a potential GI candidate? That is a question from
Definitely, sir.
AP
Definitely, it
Jayaraman,
is
sir.
a candidate. It is a very unique product. I haven't seen such Italy in some other area. So if there are somebody who is really interested in its GI registration, I'll be happy to associate with that.
And also Kavalappara Katti.
So many are there. I told Kerala is a treasure trove of geographical indication, but I am seeing initially Kerala was in the lead. We were having a lot of GI, but gradually now other states are coming. We are not taking any much interest. No, I won't say any, but our interest is less in GI. It's registration and also it's a promotion. I'll be happy to associate with anybody who is interested. Sir, Datan sir, good morning.
Yeah, Ajit Prabhu, because there is an interesting thing Ajit Prabhu has done for years for a particular ring, Modiram.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I am here.
Yeah, because that was a typical example, which you have lot of fighting for getting it approved, the GI notification, etc.
Sir.
What was it? What was it?
Pavitra Modiram, Payyannur
Modiram.
Pavitra ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is still in the fight, I think. But the product is registered. The ownership is in
issue.
fighting.
Yes, yes, yes.
Madam, I do not know whether you have highlighted the work that we had done together in KFRA for the Kannadi Paya.
Yeah, Kannadi Paya, I told sir many times. I told in my presentation.
Yeah,
I am associated with the Kerala Forest Research Institute, and KFRA has submitted the application for Kannadi Paya for GI registration.
Okay.
I told sir.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the enlightening address. And now we have Sri C. Balagopal, who is presently the chairman of the Federal Bank Limited. He is a postgraduate in economics from Madras University and joined the Indian Administrative Service in 1977 and worked in various positions in Manipur and Kerala. He resigned from the IAS in 1983 to set up a company to manufacture indigenously developed biomedical devices for the first time in the country. This came to be known as the Thermo Penpol Limited and is one of the biggest manufacturers and exporters of blood bag systems in the world. He sold his shareholding in the company to Thermo Corporation of Japan and has retired. Mr. Balagopal is involved in mentoring and investing in startup ventures, community development activities, and writing. He's a mentor at the Medical Technology Business Incubator of Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Science and Technology. He's a sought-after speaker on subjects ranging from business, healthcare, public health, entrepreneurship, and contemporary affairs. He's the chairman of Mobile Exion Technologies Private Limited, a startup enterprise engaged in medical device development, and director of Enter Technologies Private Limited. He's also a member of Ethics Committee of Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology, Investment Promotion Board of Kerala, and the Technology Development Council of SAT-IMST. He has won many awards, which include National R&D Award for Successful Commercialization of Indigenous Technology by Ministry of Science and Technology, Outstanding Entrepreneurship Award from KSIDC, Management Leadership Award of Trivandrum Management Association, etc., etc. It's my pleasure to invite Sri C. Balagopal for the invited talk on role of IPs in industrial growth. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sarika.
Thank you,
for that nice introduction. How much time do I have?
I think 20 minutes. They've already passed.
Exactly. So could you tell me how much time I have?
So 20 minutes, sir.
20 minutes. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'm being asked to speak on the role of IPs in industrial growth. And there are several interesting aspects of the subject which has been given to me, which I will try to address in this short talk. But before going into my talk, I just want to say that the framing of the subject as the role of IPs in industrial growth is very restrictive, because it really, in intellectual property in that sense is an outcome of something else, which is innovation and creativity in society, in industry, in agriculture, etc. That is what produces and leads to intellectual property as a tradable entity which can be protected by patents, etc. So I think we will be losing sight of what is the real root cause, what is the real problem in our society and in our country. And we will address only what would be the outcome part, and we will develop many policies. And I've gone into some of the data on the subject, which is aimed at making patenting processes simpler, easier for MSMEs by giving them some financial support, etc. So that the presumption being those who wish to get some innovation registered as intellectual property will find it easier to get it done. But how many people are there who want to get something registered as intellectual property is the problem. Not that those who want to get it registered are facing some difficulty. That is a secondary and very minor problem in my opinion. That's a personal view, very personal view. So that's one. Second, before I go to my talk, is that there is the presumption that intellectual property has a major impact on industrial growth. Or that is, in other words, I think it is fairly accepted as almost axiomatic that if you have a lot of intellectual property registered, that means that society is developing very well industrially. And the corollary also of it, we will think is very self-evident, that if there is not much intellectual property being registered, that means not much innovation is taking place. Now, I think both these assumptions are problematic and are really not borne out by the facts. Based on my experience as an entrepreneur, I took a lab scale untried technology from Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for making blood bags in 1985. And we had a small company, very struggling company, hardly any resources, technical or financial. And we started trying to implement this untried technology. The institute fully backed us with they were there all the time. In fact, I located the factory itself within 10 minutes driving time of the institute to ensure that this, I could have located it anywhere, but I located it there not because I'm from there, because I'm not from that area. But I think one of the few sensible things I did was locating it fairly near to Chitra Institute. So because we had so many problems. Now, during my experience of running that company, scaling this technology to commercial scale, solving various technological problems, and finally improving the quality of the product till it came to world class. And when I sold the company, it was the most efficient blood bag manufacturer in the world, commonly accepted by the competitors. We were outcompeting the Chinese competitor, the Japanese competitor, the European competitors, etc. So much so that the Japanese global leader came forward to buy KSIDC and NRDC shares and became my partners. And then eventually I sold my shareholding to them when I reached the age of 60 and I decided to retire from business. Now, during those 25 years of doing business, our company did hundreds of innovations, literally hundreds. This has been documented. And recently, the head of our R&D, who is 96 years old now, Dr. CSB Nair, has published a book where he has documented the technology development and technology transfer experience of that's my company. And there he mentions only a few, and there were literally hundreds. Out of that, we took the trouble of patenting, I think both international patent, about 10, 15, and Indian patent, a slightly larger number. But what I can tell you is that in 25 years of working, I don't think we opened that file again. Nobody, if you asked somebody in the factory or the R&D department or in production or in marketing, where is the IP file kept? Nobody would probably know that very easily. We would have had to really search to find that file. So what does it mean? So how relevant is IP? So in the sense, we went and patented because in good faith, we patented it because we were told, yeah, that's what you should do if you have patentable intellectual property. And we had patentable intellectual property. After some time, we lost interest in that because we found for two reasons. Not because the protection was not meaningful or the protection was, it did not become meaningful because in the field we were in, the rate of obsolescence of know-how was so high that by the time you went through the process of patenting, already the next version has come out. The older version is of absolutely no relevance. The older piece of that knowledge, whatever it is only, it's only one step in a knowledge addition process. It is of no meaning in commercial terms. So I think here we have certain assumptions in our mind. We are still thinking that 20 years I can keep sitting on one patent and make money out of it. I'm sorry, those days are gone. I don't know about agriculture and geographical indications, but what I can assure you is, in a rapidly changing field like high-tech manufacturing, whether it is medical devices, whether it is consumer products, whether it is industrial products, the rate of technological obsolescence is so fast that it appears to me problematic. I'm not saying it is worthless, but we need to seriously ask, if we are going through all these processes of intellectual property rights registration at great expense and putting out knowledge and documents and all this information we are putting out there in good faith, hoping that it will not be stolen by somebody else in the patenting process itself, because a lot can happen, a slip between the cup and the lip can happen in so many ways. So instead of that, we just concentrated on what? We concentrated on innovation. We concentrated on continuously developing our products so much so that they are today accepted as among the best in the world. And they're not protected by intellectual property or patents right now, because we don't have the time for it, and we are making very good money, and we are going on. So this leaves you with the thought. I think we have to question some of those assumptions about this part of it. So I've already finished 5 minutes of my time. Now, broadly, I want to make 3 points. The first point is, I've been asked to speak about a role of IPs in industrial growth, but I was also asked with reference to MSMEs. Now, I have a problem with this category, MSME. The first M stands for micro. The official and the remaining S and M stand for small and medium. Now, 94% of the industrial enterprises registered of the enterprises registered come under the micro category, 94%. And they range from one-man operations, which constitute probably more than 50% of this 94%. And that the other will be 2-man, 3-man, etc. operations, which are essentially the cycle repair shop, all these things, which you see, are all coming under the catch-all category of micro enterprises. My submission here is, while it is all very good to say that yes, innovation happens there also, and I'm sure innovation happens there, I think in terms of policy, in terms of efforts to upgrade technology, if you talk to anybody who has dealt with the small scale sector in this country, you are up against a sector, if you are talking about the micro sector, which has many other problems other than just innovation and creativity and registering their IP. They have lots of other far more serious problems. The more this is meaningful as a category for SM, that is for the small and medium enterprises. Now, as you know, under the new classification, from 5 crores to 50 crores turnover is small. Okay, 5 crores to 50 crores turnover is small enterprise, which means these enterprises have a balance sheet. They have asset strength. They have money in the bank. Now, for them, innovation and protection by IP and giving them giving them incentives, etc., to innovate and spend money on R&D, etc., is meaningful. And they are not going to stick their hand out to you for even money for even doing that. The problem with the micro sector is, when you go there, they will listen to you. Because I deal with a lot of them most of the time. And then they say, Sara, pinna paisa evidna. They know that this innovation is necessary, this trial is necessary. They need money even to do the trial. So you've discussed something in good faith, everybody nods their head, and then they stick the hand out saying, no, we need the money to do that. And that's where the thing will stop. Whereas in the case of small and medium enterprises, that is not a problem. Okay, so I think there is a need for some focus. Of course, it will offend many of us that yes, but we are only looking at those who can afford it. So, I mean, there is a problem here. You know, when you say those who can afford it and those who are capable of doing it. See, that's another way of looking at it. In business, it is not a question of somebody being rich and poor and all. It's only, do you have the capacity? Do you have the capability to do something, or do you not have the capability for doing it? So I think it's better to focus on those who have the capability for doing it. So the first part is this MSME. I think it's not a useful category. It needs to be broken into two: micro enterprises and small and medium scale enterprises is a more meaningful way of separating it. And if we then focus our intellectual property rights development efforts, licensing efforts, the subsidies, etc., I think it will all produce far more meaningful results. Then the second point which I want to make is, as I mentioned earlier, intellectual property is an outcome of innovation. So in the innovation, we should look at the innovation chain, which is a seamless process. And unless innovation happens, there is not going to be any intellectual property. So what is the real problem in India? Is it that a lot of innovation is happening, but it's not getting registered? Or is it that not enough innovation is happening? I think we will all agree that the real problem is not enough innovation is happening. Everybody is happy to make money with whatever they have. There is no serious effort to really compete, etc. And in fact, only after 1991, when the protective economic policies were removed, did the private sector in India also begin to start spending some money on R&D and look at quality, etc. Because prior to that, whatever stuff they produced, the customer had no choice but to buy. Now, after 1991, there was at least that change which has happened in the mindset. So, I think we need to look at IP as an outcome. And if it is an outcome, we need to go into what is the root cause of such low IP filings. Because I was just looking at some figure which says that India is in 2020, India is in the 7th position in terms of patents granted with 26,000 patents. China is in the first position with 530,000 patents. USA is second with 351,000. Japan is third with 179,000, and South Korea is fourth with 134,000. So our problem is, why are we still only 26,000? Because it is not that we have hundreds of thousands of innovations which are not getting patented. We don't have hundreds of thousands of innovations. That's the problem. So I think let's be very clear about it. Otherwise, we'll start giving more and more incentives, more and more simplifying processes, more and more, but there is nothing to patent. That is I'm being very blunt here, I'm sorry. But I think from my experience, I see that as the basic problem. The third issue which I want to look at is that IP, that is knowledge and innovation as part of business strategy. Like I already mentioned earlier, in my 25 years of experience here, while innovation was the fundamental platform of our competitiveness strategy, IP was not. Do you understand? I'm trying to make a difference here. We were an innovative company. We developed many innovations in-house, but we did not patent. 90% of those were not patented, because one problem with the patenting process itself is that it takes a little time. And in about a year's time or 2 years' time, that innovation is already superseded by another innovation. So the focus in our company was more rightly on innovation and finding new ways of doing things, rather than taking whatever new innovation we found and trying to patent it and getting, treating that as intellectual property. So I think the rest of I will take another 5 minutes, and with that, I will be done. What is innovation then in that case? Does innovation always end in IP, which can be registered? And is that very important for small and medium enterprises? So as I said, my experience is also, we have some notion about how does technological innovation happen. We think technological innovation means new knowledge is created, a new way of doing something, a new design, isn't it? We think this happens in a lab. In other words, we think this happens in a R&D center. So even in a company, we think that the site of the innovation is that room with that on top of the door where it's written R&D center. Inside that room, all this must be happening. But let me tell you, my friends, that's not where it happens. The innovation happens on the shop floor. The operator, the technician, the supervisor, and the engineer all sit huddled together and they face a problem, and finding a solution to that problem is what is innovation. So innovation is actually problem solving. It is not that they just sit and say, hey, why don't we make a better some connector? Nobody does things like that. Somebody said necessity is the mother of invention. Why do we invent something? The best driver for that is because you have to. Because if you don't invent it, your cost of production is going to go up. You will become uncompetitive and you will be out of the market. Like somebody said, death has a way of wonderfully concentrating the mind. So companies which are competing in the market out there are constantly under this threat of their imminent demise. Because of that, what happens is they become very, very innovative. They realize that if they don't innovate, they are finished. So my point here is, therefore, we have to sort of see that the site of innovation is the shop floor. Now, this is not only India. Across the world in manufacturing industry, there has generally been a lack of understanding of the fact that more than 50% of the knowledge generation in industry does not happen in a research lab. It happens on the shop floor. So, we have a traditional view that there is that knowledge. In other words, new processes, improved processes are the product of work done in a research lab. And then that is converted into a set of standard operating procedures, which are then applied religiously by the engineers and technicians on the shop floor who just follow instructions. But that's not how it happens. In real life, what happens is, when they try to apply this knowledge which is handed over to them, they keep facing all kinds of problems. They find solutions to the problems. And through trial and error, the most tried and tested method known to man in science and technology is trial and error. Trial and error. So they find something works. Then, production people are very conservative. If it works, they will stick to it. But then they will also want to know, why did it work? What is the reason why it is working? That they may not have the patience for or the knowledge for. So that process which is now working on the shop floor, the know why part of it is why companies set up R&D departments. R&D departments are not set up to find the answers, to find the solutions to problems. R&D departments are mostly set up by small and medium enterprises to find out, why is this change working? They know it works, but why is it working? So that's the other thing which I wanted to say, that production of knowledge happens on the shop floor. And in the shop floor, since this is a daily, weekly, every day of every month of every year, it continuously keeps going. Those people on the shop floor have no interest whatsoever, or very little interest in patenting and in documenting this thing as intellectual property. And even the people who run the factory, the plant manager, etc., his or her main thought is, am I going to meet my monthly target? Am I going to meet my cost of production targets? Am I going to meet? So those are the only considerations. They are not bothered about this new process. Have I got it registered? If I don't get it registered, is there going to be? Let me just tell you my experience, as I said, in 25 years. We were in a highly competitive field. There were only 6 major manufacturers of blood bags worldwide when I established our company. When our company got established in the 90s. And so there were only 6 makers worldwide in competition. But the know-how was very closely held by these 6 guys. But during those many years of our commercial operation, when we started competing with our foreign competitors, we did not get a single IP challenge. We did not make a single IP challenge. This seemed to be the last thing on our minds. Our only thing was, if somebody introduced some new feature, how can we counter that? That's all we thought. We thought, if they have introduced a new thing, why did they introduce it? And how can we counter that? And that's all our main focus was. So neither was IP a defensive strategy for us. In other words, we didn't protect our knowledge through IP, nor did we seek to attack the intellectual property of a competitor. It didn't seem to be very relevant for us. So this is broadly what I wanted to say. So in conclusion, I would say this, that I think the more serious problem for India and for Kerala is why more of the work which today passes for research, whether it is in academic institutions, whether it is in national research laboratories located in Kerala or state research laboratories located in Kerala, or the R&D departments of companies, of SMEs in Kerala, why is it that more of this knowledge does not reach the intellectual property registration stage? We have to ask us. So I think there is some problem with the supply pipeline. The supply of such innovations itself is very low, in my opinion. And because the supply is not sufficient, we should look at how can we stimulate innovation and creativity more among industry. So if you take, I will just end with this. In Kerala, I have been studying, the general narrative of Kerala is nothing happens in Kerala. The only story about Kerala is Nokugoli, Attimari, and Hartals and all that. There is one narrative about Kerala. I completely disagree with that narrative, and I have gone on record and I am known for my very open disagreement with this view. Why is that? I am not an employee of the government, or I am not paid by the government to promote Kerala or anything like that. Based on my experience and the experience of many other successful high-tech manufacturing companies in Kerala, I find that Kerala is a very good place for small high-tech companies to be set up, to grow well, and to establish themselves. And the examples are many. The first, my company, of course, Terumo Penpal Limited, is the world leader in, it's probably the single location largest manufacturer of blood bags in the world. Now, if you take Agape Diagnostics is India's largest manufacturer of in vitro diagnostic test kits, located in Pattimattam, just somewhere near Kolanjeri. How many people have heard of Agape Diagnostics? Synthite and their competitor, which was a branch of Synthite, but which branched off, Plant Lipids, are today two of the global leaders in flavors and additives. Vajra Rubber, which is a rubber manufacturing facility located between Thrissur and Palakkad. Vajra Rubber manufactures special coatings for stealth submarines and stealth warships for the Indian Navy. How many people have heard of that? India's most efficient special steel casting plant is not located in Kolhapur, it's not located in Bombay, it's not located in Pune, it's located in Kozhikode. How many people know that? It has been rated as one of the 8 most efficient. So why I'm mentioning all this is, these are high-tech manufacturing concerns in diverse fields. These are all not in spices processing. These are all not in one particular, there is no raw material advantage or any other cluster advantage which they're getting. For some reason, they seem to be in Kerala and they're very successful. All these companies started very small. Synthite started with the original capital of 50,000 rupees. C.V. Jacob built that into a 2,500 crore giant. In 20 years, in 25 years, he built that into a giant. How could that happen in a place which is not hospitable to industry and to manufacturing? I don't understand. But yet, if we sit and everybody stands up, at a podium and talks about Kerala industry, you will only hear Nokuguli, Attimari, and Hartal. That same old Pallavi we will hear from beginning to end. So my point here is, obviously some reason. So the fact is, innovation and creativity is happening in Kerala industry. We must try to find out how to build clusters around them, get more micro and small manufacturing enterprises to cluster around areas where successful companies like Synthite, Terumo Penpal, Vajra, and PK Steels and Agape Diagnostics and a few others are there, and build clusters around them and generate IP from that, So I think we must have a very targeted kind of approach, and then it could be that Kerala can become a destination where even investors from outside the state say, for high-tech, value-added, knowledge-based manufacturing industries, Kerala is a good location. So that's what I had to say. Thank you all for giving me a patient hearing. And, if there are any questions on the chat list or anything, I will take it. I unfortunately have to go for another engagement soon after this. So, and anyway, I think we are running a little behind schedule and probably don't have time for Q&A. But I'll be happy to field any questions. I assure you, I will give answers to every single question which comes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening address, stressing on the need for knowledge and innovation as part of the business strategy. Thank you so much. I think, and no questions, some of the comments. Yeah, there are no questions.
We move to the next session, Sharika.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Next, now let's hear some of the experience and case studies on IPR in institutions, startups, and agriculture. We have with us Dr. Anjan R. Nair, Assistant Professor and IPR Cell Coordinator, College of Engineering, Trivandrum, to share the institutional IP ecosystem, the case study of CET. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you.
So please switch on your video also.
Yes. I'm just trying to. Second. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So can I share my slide now?
Sure.
Yeah. Is my slide visible?
It's coming. Yes.
Yeah.
It is not in the view mode now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a warm good afternoon to one and all. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity like this. And in some ways, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed also because of listening to our previous speakers, excellent speakers, and who have contributed so much to the field of IP. So, so my topic is institutional IP ecosystem for scouting of patents, a case study of CET. So I must say upfront that though our college in terms of number of IPs, when you compare with maybe like
may I intervene? Maybe
yeah.
For better clarity of your voice, please switch off the video.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Yeah. Sir, am I audible now?
Yes. Now it is clear. Otherwise, it was breaking.
Okay.
Now it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much. So I will just present a case study of how we have done the scouting for patents in College of Engineering Trivandrum. And yeah, so about the college, so people from our state, Kerala, would be knowing very much about our college, CET. It is one of the oldest engineering colleges. Started in 1939. We have around 4,500 students, 311 teaching staff, and 290 non-teaching staff. We offer BTech, MTech, BArch, MArch, MPlan, MCA, and MBA. We have regular classes and even part-time evening classes. We are kind of having a great potential, especially in the field of IPs. But the point is that till 2010, our college did not have a system or even an IPR cell. It was only in 2010 onwards that we started an IPR cell in our college with the support of the Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. And this is we have now a full-time office in our campus. It is this is a screenshot of the office that we have in our college, and it is in our main building itself. So it is accessible to all students, faculty, and all members, even for general public also. And the objectives of this cell is basically it acts as a bridge between the IPRC Kerala and the faculty in CET and faculty and students of CET, and to advise and guide students and faculty on the importance of IPR, then to arrange periodic meetings of the faculty members with the officers of IPRIC for identifying patentable inventions, encourage faculty members to carry out patent searches in-house or at IPRC and fine-tune their research and forward eligible cases for IP protection. So with these objectives, we started in 2010, and basically we conducted so many programs, generally usual seminars, workshops, and other sessions were arranged. So I've just shared a few of the programs that we conducted in last 10 years. There are actually many more. Every year, at least minimum 2 programs are conducted. Online mode. So a few of these programs I've just shared for just a minute. So you can see here some programs arranged offline mode as well as in online mode. Yeah. So yeah. So this was the route. I think somebody's mic is on. Yeah, so this was the route that we were following till 2016-17 rather, wherein we were conducting awareness sessions and forwarding of patents and things. But yeah, so in 2017 we slightly started modifying or started having some new changes. We started incorporating in our system or in our process. And the first and most important was a creation of an institutional IP policy. So with the active help of KSCSTE or rather IPRIC KSCSTE, and I must in this moment thank especially Dr. Ajit Prabhu and Mr. Shafiq and his teams for helping us tremendously. So even we had some experts, Dr. Praveen Raj, the previous speaker, he also was very much helpful, one of the active contributors in framing this institutional IP policy. It is not complete in the sense the legal sanction is still wanting, but at least from the institute level, it has been approved. And second was the formation of an IPR management committee. So this committee would, I will give the details about this in the coming slides. And then third was allocating of funds exclusively for patent filing. And we have an industrial training consultancy and sponsored research office in CET. And as per the 2000 exclusive funds will be allotted. So this was created due to this institutional IP policy, you know, because wherein we stressed that the institute should give maximum encouragement to file patents and create new IPs. So if that has to be done, then active support has to be given by institute in terms of releasing funds and resources. And this was another major step. So till then, it was more of ad hoc basis from fund from here and there, PTA, or from the alumni, or from some sources, research funds, something would be done. But now we have allotted a separate fund for filing of this patent. And this has been a very, very crucial and a very important step in our IP journey. And of course, then was conducting of IP clinics. Okay, so this is another one. So even though we were conducting so many IPR awareness sessions, patent sessions, drafting sessions, workshops, and quizzes, online sessions, so many things were arranged. But still, you know, many people, though they know now what is the procedure and things, but they have some idea which, you know, they needed to discuss. But at the same time, there was an inhibition to share the idea. Maybe this idea could get copied, or maybe somebody would laugh at them and say, okay, no, this is not good, this doesn't make any sense, and things like that. Because of some inhibitions, people were still, I think, reluctant. So in this way, we started an IP clinic wherein we were bringing the attorneys. So we have the college is having an dealing with the patent attorneys Krishna and Sarashi through again the IP KSCSTE. So wherein the patent attorneys were coming to our college. So we have already conducted 2-3 sessions like this, wherein on a yearly basis they would come and have a one-to-one session with these attorneys directly, the experts in this field. So they could give suggestions and things, and that has also been a very, very a radical step, and very, very helpful in in improving our IP status. People were started becoming more confident. Okay, so they felt, okay, so yes, now there's somebody is a legal person is giving them the confidence, saying that yes, you can now file the patents. This is a worthy for that. And of course, we have an IPR advisory committee. So a brief nutshell of these things I will share in the coming slides. Yeah, so regarding the IP structure of our IPR cell, so we have an IPR cell and a coordinator. So I am the coordinator of this IPR cell, and to support to smoothen the activities of this IPR cell, we have an IPR management committee and as well as an IPR advisory committee. So this advisory IPR management committee, it consists of a chairman who is an external member, the principal, the dean research, then there is department representatives. Okay, so these department representatives, so we have in the case of the engineering field, so we have the mechanical, electrical, electronics, computer science, architecture, and MCA. So each department would be having a department representative in this committee. And these representatives will also help in identifying potential IPs in their departments. And actually, I have not included in this slide, but along with these departmental representatives, they have, each department has its own IP department committees also there. So these there may be 3 to 4 members will be there in each committee, and this committee would be so so many, as I told you before, because of being an educational institute, so many undergraduate and postgraduate courses are taking place. So many research PhD works are taking place. So this so much of research work is being done. So many of them may not be cannot be translated to an IP, but still a large percentage is worthy to be converted to patents and things, copyrights and things like that. So the committee can screen, would be screening, and they would can identify or encourage these people to contact the IPR cell coordinator. Okay, and they would, based on that, we would initiate the next steps. And so this role of this IPR management committee is basically to assess the feasibility and also recommend funding, possible fundings for the patents. And we have the advisory committee, which is a larger committee, which the chairman, again, many of the committee members are same, but apart from that, we have the chairman, KSCSTE representative, and industries department representative also in this coming. So basically in the IPR policy and things like that, they will be helping us. And so we, as I told you, we have the ITCSR, and which is again coming under the academic council. So this IPR cell is what helps us in funding of our IPs. And quickly, I will just the two more slides. So before that, the IPR funding route I would like to share with the participants. So how we do in our college. So as after the department representatives or some students have based on our IPR clinics awareness or the screenings, they would suggest this or they will recommend this students or the faculty to our IPR cell. And this IPR cell, the coordinator will then ask them to submit the IPRIC will be doing the patent search and the comparison report. And based on the favorability of that, we will present it before the IPR management committee. If the IPR management committee is recommending, this will be again put to PIU, because IPR management committee is not having the financial power rests with the IPIU, and that is a higher body in the college for exclusive for filing of this or funding of these patents. And so generally it is accepted, but if there is some minor objections, based on the clarification of IPR cell coordinators, this is then granted. And once it is granted, we forward to the attorneys Krishna and Saurashtra LLP via the IPRIC. So this is the common route that we have followed. And to summarize, so what is the changes that because of the changes, what is the improvement that so from 2010 to 2017, we had some 12 patent search we had sent to KCC. 4 patents were filed and none of those were granted during this period, 2010 to 17. But if you see here, 2018 to 2022, and this 4 years, and mind you, in this period, 2 years was actually we had the lockdown and COVID period. So in spite of this, see, we have now increased to 28 patent searches. 12 patents have filed. 13th one is just about to be done, maybe in a day or two, and 4 patents have been granted. So almost more than 2 to 3 times increase has happened in this, especially in this last 4 years. And so summary, so 16 patents have been filed, 11 patents have been published, and 4 have been granted. And these are some of the 4 major patents that we have got. And you can see there's even a potential anti-cancer drug. So it's a very, very interesting work from an pharmacy college. But now you see an engineering college with just a chemistry department here for undergraduate level has developed a patent which has a potential for even cancer. Of course, the next stages are going on, and research work has been is going to progress in this area. And similarly, there is another patent on green cutting fluid emulsion composition, and based not directly on this, but on a further more improvement on this patent product. Even a startup company has also been started in our technological business incubation cell in our college under the so Dr. Rani is a faculty. She's also attending today's meeting. So she's under her 2 students under her. They have now even started a company based not, as I told you, not directly, but on the a higher better product based on the same composition. So this is how we have done, and some of the patents that were granted to our college. So details about this, our IPR cell in CET. So once again, let me thank the coordinators for inviting me and giving an opportunity to briefly share the procedure or the case study of our institute in terms of this IP filing, or mostly related to patents. So thank you once again.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us the details of the IPR cell at CET and the institutional IP ecosystem there. Thank you so much. Now let's hear from Sri Vimal Govind MK, the co-founder, CEO, and Chief Product Architect of Gen Robotics Innovations Private Limited, on the significance of IPR in innovation-based startups. Over to you. It's not here. Sri Vimal Govind.
I think he's not in the line.
Okay, sir.
Sri Vimal Govind.
I have alerted
the
him
list of the
5 minutes
participants.
before he told he is joining.
Okay.
He might be mute, in fact.
But he is not in the participants list.
Let me
He's
check.
there, sir. He's there, sir. Vimal G.
Pardon?
Vimal G. I think he's
His
there.
phone looks engaged. Maybe we can go to the next person and then maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
That
sir.
would be.
So we may move to the next Narayanan Unni.
Yeah, Sri P. Narayanunni is the proprietor of Navara Rice Farmers Society. Let's now hear from him the role of GI in Kerala's agriculture and its impact on farmers. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, KSTE and the organizers, for inviting me to share my views or share my experience on the GI registration of some agricultural products of Kerala, India. Can I have the presentation shared, please?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
So please move to the V mode, sir. Okay, now it is okay.
Okay. Is it audible, please?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So I'm a farmer based in Palgad, Chittoor, Palakkad. We have two clusters, the Navara rice for Navara rice as well as for the Palakkad and Matar rice. These were formed in the year 2004. The Navara Rice Farmer Society and the Palakkad and Matar Farmer Producer Company was formed in 2004 and 2005, respectively. So the background is, as Mr. Balagopal was during his talk, he was mentioning that necessity is the mother of invention. Of course, as farmers, especially rice farmers of Kerala, it was only because of necessity that we were looking at avenues to continue with the farming that we were doing, and mainly that is rice farming. So the background is that Palakkad, even now, is the rice bowl of Kerala, and it has been so for so many hundreds of years. But things have changed for the farmers of rice and Palakkad, especially for rice farmers, starting from 1960s, late 1960s, with the Land Ceiling Act, restricting the holdings, and which economically was not viable. And then it continues, and the second generation and third generation, when it came to our generation, it was only 50 cents or 1 acre of land the holding a family can hold, which didn't make any sense, economic sense, And added to that, in the 1991, the opening of the economy was the policy of the government of India. The opening of the economy was there, and any product, especially agriculture products from anywhere in the world, can reach our lands and shores, which made the life of farmers, especially rice farmers, very, very uncompetitive. So, but we as a group of farmers here and the family also, ours is more than 100-year-old family farm, and I'm the third generation of the farm running now. I mean, started to run that farm in 1994 onwards after my father's demise, But I didn't want to leave or move away from rice cultivation because the other side of the economy of Kerala was and is also now the present economy or the demand supply. The data shows that only 12.5 to 15% of the production of rice required for the state of Kerala, our state, is only produced in Kerala. So the 85 to 87.5% of the rice is coming from outside Kerala, other states of Kerala. So in that situation where the demand is so high in the production or the availability, supply is so low, prices should go up. Definitely, it should be remunerated to the producer, that is the farmer. But unfortunately, due to many reasons, the price of the rice was not allowed to go up, even according to the cost of production by governments. That were those who were in power. So with this situation, we had to innovate, because we didn't want. Rice. Palakkad was a rice bowl of Kerala, and the employment also, the economy of this district, even now, is based on the cultivation, that is rice production. So employment was also there. The income, the economic activity was also rice cultivation. So we didn't want to move away from rice cultivation. So we had to. So that was a necessity to, find some innovative methods or ways to add more revenue or generate more revenue to the producer. So there we identified two areas. One was the process value addition. So there it was first we had gone for organic certification. Simultaneously from 2002 onwards, the group of farmers nearby our place in Chittoor and nearby places of Palakkad, we formed clusters, and then we decided we should empower farmers by value adding in the process by registering this very traditional and medicinal and very unique rice of Kerala, that is Navara rice, as well as the rice connoisseurs enjoy the Palakkad and Matta red rice also. So this again the geographical indication registration was it was promulgated and came into force in September 15th of 2003, and we in our the southernmost part of Kerala, India, in Kerala and Palakkad, we were able to form the clusters of Navara rice farmers and Palakkad Matta rice farmers, and start the process of application of geographical indication registration from 2009. 2004 October onwards, within a year, of the laws being promulgated. So we started the process. It was a very long, drawn out process because we were also new, and the registry was also in the initial phases of registering the products. So it took us 3 years to complete the process. In 2007 November, Navara rice and Palakkad Matta rice were registered as geographical indications. But it has gone into history that these were the first agriculture products in India, that is Navara rice and Palakkad Matta rice. Those were the two agriculture products in India, the first agriculture products in India to be registered under a farmer-led, as GI, under a farmer-led initiative. Any other, next slide, please. Yeah, this is the release of the geographical indication registration certificate by the Honorable Chief Minister in 2007. Okay, then we didn't start at that. Immediately after registering these products as GI, we started to do the post-GI activities like packing, value adding the products, like we didn't want to sell paddy as paddy to the market. Instead, on our own, we started to convert paddy into rice flakes and rice powder, and address the market. End users with this authentic product, So we didn't have any finances for what you call publicity through the magazines or media or anything. But the opportunities we got were by invitations from many agencies or many institutions and many avenues, like for say conferences, meetings, workshops, even trade fairs where we were given some time for presentation where we showcase the product, entire product range. Then we were able to narrate about the importance of these varieties, especially Navara rice. We have taken Navara as a model for the farmers of Kerala because Navara has a history of more than 2,000 years of use and cultivation in certain parts of Kerala. Even now, it was, during our start of our work on geographic indication registration of Navara rice, it was used very effectively in Kerala Ayurveda treatments for Panchakarma treatment methods for arthritis, paralysis, and all. Even now, it's effectively used. So that uniqueness was there. That medicinal property, even medicinal uses were there, and it was taken as food, healthy food, nutritional rice also during mainly during certain periods in the calendar year of Kerala. So, but at the same time, because of the reasons narrated earlier, like the Land Sealing Act, the holding becoming uneconomical, as well as opening up for the economy. So making the rice farmers fight back to the wall, that is how we could register this. But with registering alone, we didn't stop at that. We valued into products and we addressed the market. Even we had tried on online sales also, different methods we have tried to address the market. And within a year, within a period of around 8 years, starting from 2008 to 2016, we were able to sell the production of the Navara rice of the society at a reasonably good price. And from 2016 onwards, we are replicating this model in Palakkad Matta from our side, from the company side, as well as we have seen in Kerala. There are other different groups of rice farmers who have formed clusters and trying to market, marketing their rice, branding their rice and marketing at a comparatively remunerative price. So that the follow-up effect or the spillover effect of our work has been seen with the other rice, especially rice farmers of Kerala in different parts of Kerala. Now, having come to this point, we have a lot of challenges. We face a lot of challenges even now, because as far as Navara was called pure, Navara, about Navara, the pure seed of Navara was not available. So we had to purify the seed of Navara. Then we had to do all this thing, organic cultivation and all. And Palakkad Matta also, we now showcase in our branded Palakkad Matta Farmers Producer Company brand and addressing the market. But there have been a lot of challenges, including the climate change, which we have been for the last 5-6 years, which was there, evidently there, especially in Kerala, a drought and subsequent to floods. That is also there. That damages the crop. And the attack and destruction by the protected species of birds like peacocks and animals like whiteboard. All these challenges, there are challenges every time. Once we address one challenge, there are newer challenges, unforeseen or unforeseen challenges which we have to address. So with all these difficulties, the clusters are carrying on with their work, continuing the cultivation of rice and preventing those very traditional and very important and very unique varieties from extinction. But and of late, for the last 4 or 5 years, the government of India has been supporting the GI registered products, especially agriculture products, by giving avenues for exhibitions for sale and all. And even they have come out, the government of India have come out with first day covers of now the GI registered products, including Navara and Palakkad Matta. So these are ways by which the government of India has been supporting the cause of GI registered product, GI registration, as well as post GI activities of the registered products by government of India. So likewise, the farmer clusters and the farmers of agriculture products who have registered the products, agriculture products as GI, would like to get support from the state government also, because agriculture is a state subject. So similar support from the government for cultivation, commercialization of these products, especially unique products of Kerala, the farmers and the farmer clusters would like to get support, because again the government of India has schemes like the one district one product scheme, where these GI registered products for the of the concerned districts can also be incorporated for the benefits of such schemes, for example. So we would like to have the support from the state government also in our post-GI registration activities of these GI registered products of Kerala. And next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experiences. Now we have with us Sri Vimal Govind MK, the co-founder and CEO of Chief Product Architect of Gen Robotics Innovations Private Limited, to share with us the significance of IPR in innovation-based startups. Over to you.
Hello all. It's really glad to be here. First of all, so much of eminent people are actually discussed about the things about IPs in different sectors already, and I'm glad to represent the startups and innovative startups, and the role of IP in innovative startups ecosystem. So first of all, I actually didn't create a presentation because this is going to be a 10-minute presentation. So frankly, I will tell the experience of IP from my experience in the journey that I had actually took in startup, building a startup. So the entire journey is actually started in 2015 from the campus itself, if I'm correctly remember. So the main aspect was like during that college days, I actually fall in love with robotics. I really felt that this is going to be the future of our world. So I started to think very deeply regarding various aspects of robotics and how robots can help the world. But the world is not ready yet for those kinds of innovation to bring in. Then I thought, even if I want to work in that segment, how can we actually like make sure that it will worth eventually? So then I thought of IP is actually a good option, that whatever innovations that we are bringing in, it will make economical to get into a kind of product in the future timeline. But whatever we are doing right now, if we patented it, we will get a kind of protection for a longer period. So once the time is ready, the market is ready, we can use that kind of whatever research we have done into a kind of product in the future. So that's how the IP kind of thinking is actually started in my mind from the college itself. So the first thing I have done during that time, I just searched in the Google, and I find this organization called Kerala State Technological and Council for Technology and Science Innovation. And in their website, I also find some number and I called them. That's the first thing I remember during that time. And I spoke to a person. I'm not remembering their name at this point of time, but they given a very good idea of how to do the IP and what is the protection is about, and they given a lot of other information other than what is my current knowledge during that time. So I felt I should do it, and there are a lot of grants available for getting the IP done. All this information is passed to me. So then I felt this is really nice. I should do it, and I started pursue it. And my first IP filed is in 2016. That is on a robotic exoskeleton, specifically for maneuvering various. That is specifically for maneuvering a control system for robotic exoskeleton. That was my first IP. So I remember all this, and even later stage, I started to discuss with the council, and even Ajit Prabhu sir also. We got to know about we got to know about each other is only also because of this kinds of IP related discussions and grants and innovations possibilities in Kerala ecosystem. So this was the brief about how it is all started. And I'll just give you an introduction about Gen Robotics. What is Gen Robotics means about? So Gen Robotics is a startup that I founded after 2016, after the college days, along with the 3 other co-founders also. So we are into robotics, and we are into 3 segments now. One is into sanitation, second one is medical, and third one is oil and gas sector. So these are the 3 segments that we are working in.
And we are really proud to say that the first product that we built called Bandicoot Robot, which is been even serving in Kerala and 16 states of India. That is we call Bandicoot as the title. That title is that it is the world's first robotic scavenger. So how actually all this happened is because we started to innovate in that segment, because sanitation in one segment where the innovative attention of engineers or people is not doesn't went well into that segment. For centuries we are depending on conventional equipment in that segment, and we are also putting people for doing the different types of cleaning activity in confined spaces like manhole. And it says that every 5 years one person is dying due to this particular job. It is more complicated than the soldiers who actually board our security the borders. So this but even though this is that crucial, nobody's actually put a lot of effort or innovation into the segment. So we thought, this is one particular segment we should actually innovate, and whatever the issue of the need for people to enter into the manholes and all, we can actually solve it using technology. And we started that entire thing, and it's actually a big industry. The sanitation itself is a big industry. As I said, conventional equipments and the lobbies of manual labor and all is actually providing and ruling the industry. So a newcomer like us, like a startup entering into this segment, will be a big issue. And that was our first challenge. And the second challenge we also faced is, like, even if we build something, people can easily copy it and reproduce it and give to these various entities in much cheaper rate than we can actually give, because of we are trying to put our resources into innovating the product. A lot of resources is going, a lot of money is going into the innovation process. So in order to get a break even eventually, we actually need to compensate these overheads also in the product pricing. But a person who is just simply copying whatever we done, for him he is not burning that much. So he is always have that leverage of a reduced price comparing to us. So that helps the competitors or the people who copy us can actually lead the market, even though we are the original innovators of this product. But luckily we got the options of patent. We did the patenting, and also that patent is given tremendous protection. So in different segments it is actually given. So basically the first part is like the design that we created is unique and it is world's first thing. So we patented it in our own name, and that gives a complete control on the territory of India. That is the first thing. Second thing, the similar patent also helped us raising funds. Being a startup, getting a fund is also very important thing. So specifically newcomers like us from just out of campus, credibility of building a company will not be there, comparing to the conventional business people. So so the major reason, in order to get a credibility, getting a patent is also a very important thing. So if we have a patent, it means that it went through a lot of technological evaluation, and this is something unique. And if it is have a business purpose, any VCs or any angel investors, they can actually bet on us in a better manner, because if somebody created a similar thing and just to try to take over the market itself, we can sue them in a legal terms. So these protection has helped us, and it has helped us in getting initial fund. Even before we create a working model based on the concept and design, we raise the fund using the patent and IP related protection. So that helped us. And then eventually during that time in 2016-17, Startup India and other startup systems, which is normally there to help and promote the startup culture in the land, is not that much active. So the rule of or the favoring situation or policies for startups to get IPs in a faster rate was not there. So even though our first patent is filed on 2015-16 range, it took nearly 7 years to grant that patent. Recently, the patent is also granted. But nowadays, we are working on similar different industries like medical, oil and gas sector, and the granting time of the patent is considerably increased. Like there is a specific policies which allows startups to get the patent in a faster phase. So with all this, being a startup, we can innovate, we can focus on innovation, and we can innovate, and using that innovation we can actually compete in the market. So the IP is actually given us an option even for newcomers, even for new startups, new people, even without a lot of business background, market address kind of things. Also, they can actually compete in the market with the help of IP. Now, the role of IP specifically in innovation, like robotics and artificial intelligence, ML, machine learning and all, it is becoming quite big because I remember, even if the IP is in a very well advanced kind of technology, even if it is not that, even if it is a small invention, even like a straw itself, it is actually give us a tremendous advantage to the inventor to make a revenue out of it by royalty kind of thing. It is true that we cannot actually put our attention into every market, every place, each and every corner of the world. That may not happen. People may still copy our product and all, but there are a lot of big companies, public companies like PSUs who cannot actually copy somebody's design without giving a public consent. So that kind of area still give us an opportunity to remunerize or compete in the market using our IP. So that is the first thing I want to share. And the second part is when people talk about IP, they just feel that it is just intellectual work, some kind of design or some kind of a process. But I feel IP is also not just that. IP is also the trademarks and even registered brand name. All these things can also give us a kind of specific thing, just like how the patents actually normally gives to different business owners. So I feel that is also important, and the focus also should need to go into that segment as well. And that's more or less my experience, and I'm really glad being a startup we could actually put a lot of patents in the segment, and along with that some of the patent the entire filing fee and everything is actually been granted back like as a reimbursement to us through channels like Startup Mission. So thank you so much for this particular platform, and thank you so much for inviting me. So if you have any kind of confusions regarding how the IPs can be used in startups and how to build a business around it, happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Vimal, for sharing your experiences and for sharing the significance of IPR in innovation and startups. Thank you so much for joining us. And now we are about to conclude the program. I now invite Dr. Binija Thomas, the Principal Scientist of KCSTE, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Val.
Thank you. Am I audible, Sharika?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Respected Chair, distinguished guests, invitees, directors of R&D institutions, and my dear colleagues. We have come to the end of the final program of Vigyan Utsav series on science, technology, and innovation for Atmanirbhar Bharat, organized as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. In fact, we had a lot of input from today's session, especially on the intellectual property rights ecosystem of the state and the way forward. Now let me move on to the duty entrusted to me on behalf of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. Let me profusely thank Professor K.P. Sudhir, Executive Vice President KSSTE, for presiding the function and for all the guidance in organizing the program. My sincere thanks to Dr. S. Pradeep Kumar, Member Secretary KSSTE, and also the General Coordinator of the program for all his efforts in the smooth conduct of the event. And with immense pleasure, let me extend sincere gratitude to the chief guest of the day, Professor K.C. Sunny, Vice Chancellor NUALS, for the keynote address on the significance of IPR in higher education sector. I also thank Sri Praveen Raj, Principal Scientist, CSIR NEST, Dr. CRLC, former Professor, Kerala Agriculture University, and Sri C. Balagopal, Founder Managing Director, Thermo Penpol, for the informative sessions for fostering the knowledge economy. I also thank Dr. Anjan Nair, Sri Vimal Govind, and P. Narayananuni for sharing their experiences in this sector. Let me thank Dr. Ajit Prabhu, Chief Scientist KSSTE and Nodal Officer of IPRIC, for the excellent coordination of the activities and also for the introductory session on the overview of IPR. I also thank Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, especially Dr. Devapriya Datta and Dr. Rishmi Sharma and the TIFAC officials for all guidance. Sincere thanks to directors and scientists of R&D centers, participants from various institutions, scientists and administrative staff of KSSTE headquarters for joining the session. Special thanks to Dr. Shadika and the Information System Division of KSSTE for effectively managing the online platform. Hope you all had a wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
you, ma'am. We now conclude the entire 1 year long program. Thank you all. And now we have the national anthem.
हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उत्कल जलधि तरंगा आशीष मांगे जय भग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Okay, thank you all.